Derek, if you need to geek out, dude, just do it. Just do it. Derek is like an encyclopedia. You need to know this, James, right? This guy knows everything there is to know about almost all anime, all like Gundam and stuff. He's like this knowledge, just this waterfall of knowledge. So he's just a little shy.
Oh, we're going to get along. We are going to get along just fine. We're going to get along just fine. Oh, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Oh,
let me just make sure.
You okay, Derek?
Yeah, I think actually, holy shoot, I think Alina actually turned on the stream early. Hi, though.
Did she really?
It's online.
Did she really?
It's on now. I think.
Hi. What's going on, everybody?
I hope.
Welcome to the Gunpla talk.
But let me check actually, because I don't know if I should believe. Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't. No, it says waiting. It says waiting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was seeing it says end stream and then live. I said, what is going on here? So.
Oh, I noticed when I watched the podcast last week that the video compression was kind of pixelated during the slideshow. Is that
we fixed it? Sorry.
Oh no, okay, it's fine because my aunt was watching. She was like, "I like the slideshows, but they're a bit fuzzy." Is that normal? I was like, "It's technical difficulties, Auntie. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fixed. We fixed all of that now.
It is actually on, guys."
What?
Oh no. Ah, all right. Well,
but I'm not. It says I refuse to miss this, but I don't see a picture on my end. Is it streaming? Is OBS and OBS? Does it say start streaming?
Oh, it is. Shoot. Yep.
So you do have to start streaming.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is it on or is it not on?
It's on. It's on, guys. It is right now.
It keeps saying for me that it's waiting. Maybe. Oh, it says it's live now.
Yes. It shows live.
It shows live, my friends. Hello.
Hello. Hey guys. Okay. Well, cool. Now we're here. Guess it's been live. We don't even know what's going on. Okay. Welcome to GTS Gunpla Talk Show every Friday. With us today, we have part 2 of Otakubuilder's segment, right? Which is going to be awesome. We have so many more things to go through. Last week we didn't have enough time. But before we even begin, I do want to announce that Otakubuilder has a new video out on one of his Metal Gear Solid pieces. Go watch it. He just put it out, I think, a few hours ago, right? Like 10 hours ago or something like that.
Yes, that is correct.
So it's out there. It's a great video. I already watched most of it, right? Because it's like 40-something minutes long.
Yeah, sorry about that. There's a lot
that's
that
okay.
goes into it.
The reason I didn't finish watching it, I was making some ribs earlier outside on the grill, so I couldn't. It's either I have to, watch it or do this, But for the audience, Justin won't be here today because he's busy. But that's okay. We have Derek, our new co-host, right, for season 2.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Derek over at GTS. Hey.
Yes. And we have, of course, the man who needs no introduction. We have James. How are you, James?
Doing good, my dudes. How are you guys holding up?
We're doing well. It's going well.
It's awesome.
Nice.
It's awesome.
We changed a lot of things now. Actually, we have a new overlay. We can make made your face a little bit bigger. Made the slides a little bit bigger. Should all look better now. And now it's at 1080p, if I'm not mistaken, right?
All right, cool.
No more 480p. Technical difficulties. It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, it's my fault.
Out there in the audience,
sorry, guys.
No, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It was technical difficulties. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to remind you guys to join our Discord server, GTS Gunpla Talk Show. The link will be in the description, and the link is on my Instagram at MasterGradeJess. You can go and join it in right now. They have people talking all the time on the general tab and work in progress, just a bunch of stuff. And people have there become friends, and we love them to death. But without any further ado, let's jump right into James. What's it called? This is the on slide 26. We have the Star Wars BB-8, right?
BB-8 is so
yes,
cute.
Sir.
I love it.
Yes, sir. Oh man, this was a really cool project to work on again. You'll see it in slide 27. I have 2 comparisons there. So the slide on 27 is the original BB-8 kit I worked on when Star Wars The Force Awakens came out. And these kits were selling like hotcakes, man. Everyone was buying these guys left and right. And the moment I built that kit, I was like, I'm just gonna do some nice white weathering. I'm not too confident doing any kind of painting. And I know Bandai did release some kind of LED function for this particular kit. I'll just rock with it, see what works, and then just go with it. And when I got the kit, I was a little frustrated because this sucker had at least 3 LED light systems. One for the main eye, and then you got one for the front part of the face, and then the mouth. 2 separate LED kits. They're like $80 if you bought them separately. And I remember just being extremely frustrated with that. So I told myself, okay, I'm just going to build it, shelf it, and then move on to the next Star Wars kit and see how things go on after that. And then unfortunately, Star Wars tanked. No one didn't want to watch anymore. No one didn't really care. And then eventually I just told myself, I'm not going to pick up the BB-8 kit and try it one more time. Give it a nice professional look to it. And shockingly enough, this kit was really expensive because when I purchased it at the time, it was like $80. And now it's like going for like $200. So
Wow.
I told myself, if I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to make this as close as like a Hot Toys collectible and just go all out on it. And that's exactly what I did. And I freaking love this kit.
Oh, God. I mean, it looks like a great kit, but it says half scale. So how big is it? Like, how would you like?
Oh, dang. Yeah. I wish I had an example in the office. I don't have one. The funny thing is, it's actually in the closet. If I actually would have to go get it.
Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to get it.
Okay.
It looks big in the picture. It looks like the actual prop, right, from the movie. I do think it's like a movie
slightly.
one.
Yeah, that was made by Hasbro, and I did buy it because I was a sucker for Star Wars stuff, and I weathered it up, gave it the whole 9 yards, but I didn't do any custom painting because you can't really disassemble those toys too much to the point where they'll end up breaking. So.
Of course. Yeah,
but I do remember the time when Star Wars was hot, and I absolutely loved this little droid. And I forget the name of the company. They made a little Sphero droid of the BB-8, and I remember begging my fiance, "Give me one. I know it's Christmas. I've been a good boy this year. Just give me one." And she was like, "No, it's $300. We need to use that on Christmas gifts."
Yeah.
We think we are made of money. I was like, "Yes. Can I have it?" She's like, "No, just get the model kit." Okay, it's fine. I'll get it. But oh my goodness, this was such a fun kit, man.
How easy was it to put the LEDs in this kit? Because it looks fairly easy. Is it hollow in the inside or?
There is a lot of cavity space in the head, believe it or not, and the actual main body, more cavity space to work with. So depending on how accurate you want to make BB-8 look, you can pull off pretty much a 1-to-1 screen accuracy with this model kit.
What?
Like you literally can pull it off. And that what made it really refreshing to do this kit again. I'm like, okay, I can make like a little flickering light implemented around the mouth because it kind of like flickers on and off like in the movie. But this time around, I wanted to install like a function where you can actually increase the light brightness to low and dark. So that way too many areas don't overpower one another. I think I have it in my video, but it's like very brief. But I want to have that functionality there instead of just like press a button and then be done with it. So down the road, if someone wants to buy this kit, they'll have the actual option to turn the lights either brighter or lower depending on where they place it in their office or in their home. But unfortunately, Star Wars is technically dead right now until The Mandalorian comes out with some sweet new kits. But as it is right now, dang, it's a shame. It's a shame.
So you're a big fan of Star Wars then?
To be brutally honest, I'm more of a Star Trek fan. I love me some Star Wars, but I'm more of a scientist. I'm an engineer. I love the sense of learning, exploring, trying out new things. Star Wars has that. But the scientist part of me has always been there as a kid. And I always loved tinkering with things and taking things apart and putting them back together. And putting LED lights in kits like this, it's exactly the same thing. You're trying to figure out a way how to put all these wires into one spot without making it too complicated, and at the same time enjoying it. Because if you're not enjoying it, then it's just going to be really frustrating down the road.
Okay. Do you, Derek? What do you think of this piece, man?
Oh man, I'm really liking this actually because that's one of the most favorite little piece I enjoy out of the BB-8, especially watching it from the first movie. Giving you a thumbs up.
Yeah,
it's so cute and so iconic. And actually, I'm gonna go flip through the next slide here because this slide, I just love this. It's so cute. It's just peeking around the corner. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I wanted something like super cute for the thumbnail for the video because the original one I did. Unfortunately, got hit with a copyright strike for the music. So that was Yeah, that was the key reason why I had to redo it again because, quote unquote, someone said your music that you're using for my channel, it's good, it's ad friendly, you can use it, and then eventually I had to take the video down. So you could have said like, well, I can just retract the old footage and then redo it again, right? And I couldn't because that file got corrupted on my old computer, which was like an all-in-one desktop computer, and I maxed the sucker out to the point where it was like overheating every time I was like rendering the video. And eventually it was just like, no, I quit. Sorry, I'm taking your videos with me, man. You don't need it. I need it. And it just cooked it. So that was like the key reason why I wanted to redo it. But at the same time, I love this droid.
So
I like it just a little bit more than R2. Just a little. Because
there's
just a lot of personality in him.
I was going to ask,
yeah.
were you going to look at R2 or even Dio? Because those are the last two most recent droids that everyone's sort of been looking at too. I thought personally, Alina, my girlfriend, she really loves Dio.
I thought Dio was cute, but I remember going to a Walmart. This is like shortly after the third film came out. There were so many Dio toys out on the shelves.
Yes,
it broke my heart, man. No one didn't care, and I knew if I bought the kit, no one wouldn't care for that little dude either.
I know.
I think another part that kind of bugged me with that kit was not the kit. The character Dio, they end up swapping his voice.
Yes.
And I don't know why JJ decided to put his own voice inside Dio when they premiered him in the Force, not Force Awakens, but the event they had in Florida, what they usually do for the Star Wars convention. He had like a nice whisper, like a whistling sound, and I thought that was really charming. But they got rid of it in the film.
Oh.
I don't know why they did that.
I didn't realize that actually. Well.
Yeah, if you look at the video footage, you'll see it. It was kind of neat what they were able to do, and it kind of breaks my heart that they end up just going with him saying no thanks, bye, no,
thank you, no.
Like, yeah, I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
weird.
Oh,
okay,
it's endearing.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I just,
well,
I've never been a big fan of the Star Wars movies.
Sure,
I've always been a bigger fan of like the technology around it. So something I tell my wife all the time, right? Because she used to like Star Wars more. I feel like back when the games Old Republic was out, like in the PS2 times.
Yes.
And the old movies. But I always told her what I like more about Star Wars is the universe around it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care for the whole soap opera thing. I don't care about Luke Skywalker. I don't care about Darth Vader. I don't care about them. I care about this whole like universe that they created, which in this case, you get the BB-8, which is it's so cute. It's so cute. It's a cute. Reminds me of WALL-E almost. A little bit of that kind of sense.
Oh,
and you made it. You just brought it to life and made it even cuter, especially with the photo, which Derek says it's super cute.
Yeah, I think I was using.
Was somebody holding it?
Lens. No, he was like, there was just enough weight where I can prop him on the side, and I was able to take a picture of him. So it kind of worked out. It was really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, this little dude was fun.
Yeah, he looks. I've seen a lot of Star Wars kits. There's so many Star Wars kits. Whenever you go to the hobby store, there's so many of them. I've just never gotten myself one, and I don't see my. I used to have the little toys, but I don't know. I wish if I put LEDs into them, I feel they would look better, like how you've done. I think it would kind of bring them to life and give them that little flair.
Yeah, but, it's acquired taste, and I agree with you on that. When I was younger, I didn't care much for the characters at all. I was all about the lightsabers, the spaceships, the overall universe, and just really being immersed in that stuff and looking at conceptual artwork that they did for the films back in the early 80s. And just being like really marveling, like, how the hell did they make that sucker move? And how did they do that kind of weathering on the X-Wing fighters? And how long did it take them to build the Millennium Falcon? Because it was like a life scale, prop that they had for the film. I was always fascinated with that as a child.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that art's kind of dying in films.
It is.
Because we're moving more focus towards, computer generated stuff. Yeah. But, there are some people out there that still do props for films, and I think this would probably be a good prop, maybe like a little stand-in in a film, but probably a little bit more weathered. I didn't want to do too weathered on this kit, just enough where you can see like this guy's seen a lot of things in his journey in the world, and I thought it came out great.
No, I think it turned out really nicely. Actually, it looks like he's been around, but he's not like thrown into the mud. So it's like in the clean part of the spaceship sort of idea crossing through. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, I must have
Have
looked
you-
for tons of reference for this character. I think I was playing like Star Wars Battlefront 2 like
You
8
man,
hours a day.
Were you able
Just-
to actually stand through Battlefront 2?
Yeah, man, that game's fun. I don't play it anymore, but it was fun.
I downloaded it for free
You know?
on PlayStation because they actually had it up for PlayStation Plus just like last month. So I
Yeah.
downloaded the entire thing, started playing through it. It's not bad. It's actually a lot of fun. But
Yeah,
it's
the,
just I
the
think
space
later-
combat is like funky.
It is.
It is funky, but I think the only mode I like playing on there the most is heroes versus villains, and I just love
Oh.
playing as BB-8 and just wreaking havoc on everyone. Just love it, and they don't take me seriously, and I love that. So if I can get like a Darth Maul and an Edge, or what you call it, a Sith, a Darth Maul, a Vader on an Edge, and they don't suspect me, I'll just ram them off the cliff, and I'll do it, and I'll just do the taunt with the lighter sticking up.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my
That has like a
God.
double meaning, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Can we all agree?
I
Yeah,
do
just,
definitely agree to that. Actually, a couple
Okay.
ways.
The BM, yeah, just the BM after you do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Pretty nice. Okay, so we're gonna jump into one of my favorite suits of all time. Like I said, so many people think that the Sasabi is my favorite, but I do like the Sasabi the new, and I do like the Barbatos better. But the new is one of my favorites. And you did
Ooh.
some justice to this kid. I mean, look how beautiful this is.
I was extremely passionate working on this kit because part of me was a little upset that Bandai didn't want to make it into a perfect grade. Instead, they opted out making like a very expensive perfect grade ish collectible that was like
Metal
$900. like-
Back then.
Yeah, I'm like, no, get out of here. I'm just gonna customize it. No, that can't happen. No, come on, Bandai, get it together. Come on, man. But yeah, when this was like another requested kit too. Everyone's like, "Oh, you should do the new Gundam. You should do, there's a lot of exposed clear pieces that can really pop out and make it look really cool." And I've seen a handful of builders that have already put LEDs in this kit, but the lighting was like a little inconsistent. They would end up using like white LED bulbs, and those slightly saturate the clear green that's already there. So the first thing I thought to myself, I don't want to overblow them, while at the same time I want to keep the power consumption at least between 3 volts. So I know I'm going to push it close to like maybe 18 to 20 LED lights. But if I'm going to do that, he's going to be very limited when it comes to posability. I know I say that word a lot. I'm not a really big fan of just having the mechs in just like a static pose. I like to take them to the next level of making them look good, but at the same time give them some flair. And if I've achieved that, then that means I've done my job. This particular project was just, I don't want to say it was hard. I would say this one was actually a lot more easier comparing it to the Mega Size Unicorn Gundam. And what I mean by that is just like, I know where the wires need to go. I know where I need to illuminate. But at the same time, it's familiar. I don't have to drill or cut any plastic out. I just got to make sure everything goes into one spot. Everything clips in together. Nothing that doesn't strip or damage the wires. I know I had a game plan on how I wanted to pull this off, but I think my biggest problem with this kit was the funnels in the back. They just kept falling off every single time. And I got a lot of people telling me, like, you should get the double funnel set and make them have wings. Like, no, you guys don't understand. I'm on a budget. I can't just throw that kind of money out there. What I get, I work with. And I thought I did well. I think I had one LED that failed. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe it's like it's in the chest area in the upper left-hand corner. You can't see it, but one of the chest panels LEDs failed. And I remember Evan's Design hitting me up, telling me like, "Oh, we'll send you another one. Don't worry about it." I was like, "No, you guys got to understand. This is the risk and reward when it comes to putting custom LEDs in these kits. Sometimes they work, sometimes they fail. I'm fortunate enough that the LEDs didn't fail in the eyes. So in a funny way, everything worked out the way it did. So I was just, wow, I was very relieved with that. But tons of things could have went wrong. Areas around the thigh, those LEDs could have failed because it's really tight and compact. And the torso area has enough cavity space where you can put a good spool of wire in there. So I'm really happy Bandai made that possible, because I know they had it there for the LED bulb that comes with, like the 3mm bulb.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. I have a way to hide all the wires. I'll just funnel everything in there and then put it into one wire at the very bottom, and then we're good. and that's what ended up happening.
So
Super happy how it turned out.
So comparing this one, you were saying you did the unicorn as well there. Do you think they take the ideas when they came out with the unicorn and put it into this idea? Because I see a lot of the clear pieces, like sort of similar ideas, you know, see around the legs and everything like the unicorn. So do you use what you learned from that and put it into this too, I'm guessing, or?
Yeah, it's just I was working with smaller LEDs instead of like mega size LEDs, which are much more brighter. Even though the mega size has a lot more cavity space, there's still areas where it's just like it's prone to like falling apart or just overall breaking. And I had that happen a couple times with the mega size. I'm very tempted to try doing custom LEDs for a perfect gray unicorn, but the kit's already there with their own LED lights, so I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny is that I do have a friend who actually has the perfect grade, and to be honest, he said that still today he doesn't know if the lights are working or not, and he does not want to turn it on because the fact is he might have flipped the LED wires through there.
How?
I don't know, but he's like saying that he left it in the unicorn form, never in the destroyer form, because the reason is so that way I never ever know 100% if it's actually right or wrong.
I think I know where he's getting at. I have the same problem. I think I get it. Because I have built a perfect grade many years ago, and I just told myself, you know what? I'll just keep him in unicorn mode. I don't want him in destroy mode because I'm afraid something's gonna break or strip out.
Yeah,
because of the way how it's designed. So I just left it alone. I get it.
I think about one day, like I'm still building my perfect grade Astray, but one day I think I will try a unicorn, but I will for sure, from the life of me, I will just leave it in probably destroyer mode and never ever touch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved your master grade new. I thought that was really neat actually how you put the lights, and you're saying you mostly use white on this, so I was like I say, there's a lot of tin green, but then the legs they showed that really blue.
Yeah, because the LEDs are blue.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm doing is like I'm complementing the green so it can refract off the blue. Because if it's just a white LED, then it's just gonna be heavily blown out. You'll see like a light soft green. I didn't want that. So when I was looking at a lot of the promotional stuff, I'm like, it's a little bit has like a bluish hue to it. I kind of like that. Why not I just rock out with that and see if it works? And when you look at the photos, it's like I see a little bit of a blue, but I see more green. So the colors complement one another very nicely.
Yeah. Because I was wondering that because I'm looking at your legs there, you got more of the blue, but then the rest of the body, like the face, the head itself, the shoulders, it shows out the green like perfectly, like what I would expect from watching the anime all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And God forbid, I would wish they would. I don't know. Is it sacrilegious to say if they remake Char's Counterattack?
No, it wouldn't be sacrilegious. Well, nowadays, if they were to reanimate that and just make it like. Because, okay, let's be honest. The animation for Char's Counterattack is pretty old. It's so dated. Yeah, it's so bad.
It is very dated,
and
right?
if they brought it back and they made the new Gundam, the new poster child for Bandai, I'd be more than happy.
Sure.
Because I'm tired of looking at the unicorn. I hate the unicorn so much. And it's Bandai's fault. Because every time, right, it's a unicorn, it's a unicorn. And the reason I'm saying this, right, because like I said, it's a joke in the show. But when I first built my new, and the first time we started the show on GTS, I remember we talked a little bit about the new Gundam. No, we had a whole episode on the new Gundam, actually. Because we talked about Amuro. And so how like the psycho frame from the new Gundam was put into the psycho frame for the unicorn in the lore, right? Derek, or am I wrong there?
No, they didn't take the original because the original.
No, they didn't take the original. They implemented the technology into it, right?
Yeah, because by what is it now? London Bell, they took all the technology, all the phasing they made from the Sasabi and also the new Gundam, and then they made the poster child, the Unicorn series, the entire three units. And it's really funny actually how that even was put together, but. Hey, it worked, and they never thought about training Benager the way he did, and somehow magically jumps into the suit that was made for him.
Yeah.
Get in the robot, Shinji.
Oh, it always has to be an adolescent kid that doesn't know better and do us somehow magically. There's a conflict of some sort, and he winds up in a big robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my childhood?
Yeah.
No,
Shoot.
Yeah.
one of the things that I see, oh no, not one of the things, sorry. I just got an email from Sate, actually. Sorry, that's okay. But the thing here is, what I don't understand, and just like James asked, why isn't there a perfect grade of the new or the Sasabi? I mean, yes, I get the size, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us would be willing to, because my wife has said it. She's like, I don't care how expensive a perfect grade Sasabi would be from Bandai, just give it to me. Because why so many unicorns but not one new?
Mm-hmm.
A perfect grade new would be beautiful. It would be a
agree.
beautiful kit.
I
So with the
agree.
Sasabi. And you know what? This is just a beautiful piece because this is one of the master grids that I have waiting for me to build and to do something with in the future.
Yeah.
Because I do have, well, Derek knows that I have the RG new, the RG Sasabi, I have the master grade Sasabi. We have the SD Sasabi with the SD new. We just need the master grade new to complete it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we have the whole thing. So I'm I'm gonna watch your video. I'm gonna try to put some LEDs in there and make them look beautiful like this.
Yeah,
Try to-
man.
try to figure it out.
Keep it simple, and then work your way up. That's what I always tell everyone. Yeah, don't go like I'm gonna do exactly like that, and then you make a mistake, and then you have to look at the video again, and then you have to hit B up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What did I do wrong? What time is it?
Like, hey James, can you please help me out?
Poppy,
just
your
chilling here,
phone,
man.
your phone's ringing. Who is it? Someone from Gundam Talk. Oh, I got it.
So just
Don't
reading
speak
some of
there.
the message chats, I guess Robert here says Unicorn Mobsuit is supposed to read a new type's brain, so it acts as an extension of its body. That's what it was designed to do. So I'm not sure exactly, but hey, that's cool. It's a neat idea.
Space magic.
Yes, actually he put that in there. Plus minus dad's user's permission. Plus minus plot magic.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's a great kit. I'm very happy. Maybe one day I'm going to get my hands on one of these guys too. And I will probably be bugging you one day about putting those LEDs in. So don't
Dude,
forget
hit
that.
me up. Be more than happy to help you. It's
So-
my job.
So here's the next one.
Thanks, Sam.
I want to talk about old school that I love from my childhood too. Proto Zero.
Ooh. Yeah. I think I caught Gundam at the tail end of season 2 when this particular wing Gundam came out. And I liked it a little bit more than the first one, just a little bit. Then I got lost with, it has the ability to see the future and it can foretell what's going to happen in the past and the present. I'm like, okay, I'm at a Gundam again.
Yep.
I'll check it out in a couple more years. Oh man, no, but real talk about this kit. This was super fun. I don't know why. My only regret is I wasn't able to really show it in its transforming feature. That's always the biggest challenge with these kits. If they have like a transforming gimmick, like into a core fighter, that's where it becomes a challenge because you're dealing with super fine wire, and if you put just too much tension to it, you'll break it. And I'm hoping I won't have that problem with my next project, which is the Master Grade Curios. But I think I implemented a little bit better when I did the Master Grade Zeta Gundam. So what I learned from this one, I implemented onto Zeta. So that way, what I learned from the Master Grade Zeta, I'll eventually tackle the perfect grade at the end of the year. But with this particular kit, I just love the color separation, the bold blues and soft and bright reds, and then you have a little bit of a yellowish gold on the shoulders. I just love the overall color scheme because originally I think it was like a flat yellow orange.
Yeah, it was
I didn't
really
like
orangey.
that.
Yeah, it was originally, but then I always think, it would look cool like gold because they did that for the SD series so many times for the Wing Gundam. I say, dude, that's why it looks good because because it's gold.
Yeah. So you have to be like super careful. Do I go for like a yellow gold? Do I go for a flat gold? Because there's like so many applications. Do I go for a titanium silver gold? I mean, the applications are endless, but at the same time, you don't want to create a spot that creates too much of a distraction. So that's why I mentioned in the last video, like color theory is like really important when it comes to doing these kits because you don't want to have something that's overpowered. Like, well, when I do my kits, I try to keep them as accurate to what you see in the box art, and I get tons of hate from people telling me like, well, this is cool and all that you're doing, but I want to see you do something different. Well, I like what I'm doing.
Personally,
Yes.
I don't
You
mind
know?
that clean look that you get from the box, right? Yeah, I always find it's so difficult. I'm saying this because maybe it's me, but try and get that perfect box art that you see from when you look at it from the side of the box. You say, look at the front art cover, that looks awesome, but then you turn over to the side and you look at all the parts and stuff. I'm looking at the box inside the kit. I'm looking at the side again. And I'm like, what the heck?
Something's not right.
Yeah, I think I'm missing something here.
They do that all the time because it even says it in like the manual, right? In the pictures, it says the kit in the picture has been painted and detailed, and so you're like, because this doesn't look like anything at all like what it looks like outside in the box. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty different.
But so
yes, go ahead.
So Derek, Derek, go ahead.
I was going to say that were you able to hide the wire through the arm onto that shield? Because I was going to say the wiring
I failed.
on there. Yeah,
I did fail on that one because you can actually see it. It's very thin. It starts from the hand. You see a little spinnacly line, and it goes all the way down to the leg. You can see it right there in between the cap. That wasn't even necessary. I just liked that little green part to be glowing if I did put into the transforming gimmick. I liked it, but at the same time, when I look at it now, I'm like, I shouldn't have put an LED in there. It's too distracting. And at the same time, if I did opted to keep it the way it is, I would have to find a way to funnel that wiring through the forearm, up the shoulder, and up to the torso. And the thing is, it would be permanent.
Yeah.
Which would prevent it from being transformed. Yeah. And I was already having a hard time trying to transform it. But at the same time, I didn't want to jeopardize breaking anything else because this is like my second attempt building this kit.
Well, because
as you'll see,
to transform this thing, you have to turn the entire torso like 180 completely. Like if I'm like thinking to myself, that doesn't pull something, that's crazy. But yeah, that's the reason why I just like opted out. I probably will have more success with Curios than I did with the Wing Gundam, because it does have like the same like swivel. Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. I'm thinking of Jobby the Hung. Forgive me. Swivel. But I remember like that being a big issue. So a lot of times like this, you either have two choices. You either favor one part over the other, or you just end up buying two kits. One that's already transformed, and then one that's already like fully ready to go. And I didn't want to do that. I still wanted to stay true to it, but at the same time, I wanted to try out new things that I didn't do the first time, which was like nice color separation between whites and grays, but not just using one gray. End up using like 3 different tones on the knees and the caps and little foot area. Just breaking out of my comfort zone and just having just like one palette.
Well, I enjoy it. It looks more definition, right? Actually, for itself, it separates it. So that's really nice because I love like where you did for the waist. And it's instead of like the original just pure white all the way and you just panel line it. Now you actually can see separate for some part of the armor. It looks like it can almost separate, right? So it looks good. I like it.
I have a question. Do you ever do like panel lining? Like actual like scribing? That's what I mean.
The first time I did scribing was the Perfect Grade RX-78-2 Gundam. And I think I was like around the time when I was just hearing news that they were already going to tear down the 1-to-1 scale Gundam in Tokyo. And I was like, you know what? I would love to have something like that in my office. It would look really cool. But I noticed that the design aesthetics are drastically different from the Perfect Grade that I have. The one I made was done in the early 90s. This one is new and refreshing. So I remember just looking at that particular kit and statue every single day, trying to get as accurate as possible. And I had a lot of fun scribing. That was super refreshing because I never imagined I would actually do it. But I needed to ask a lot of people how to do it correctly. And the only people that I knew that were like very versed in it was like a lot of Korean builders. And even though there was like a language gap between us, there was like some that were kind of like, know what, I'm not helping you. This is my stick. Leave me alone. And others were like, nope, you just use this little tool. You get yourself some tape that's like relatively thick. So that way you can have it perfectly straight when you're cutting down the center, or use a ruler if that is more comfortable for you. But the one thing that the person told me, he no longer makes Gunpla anymore. He's pretty much done. He basically told me like, don't rush it, just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you rush it, then you're gonna end up making one perfect line and then skew, and then you're stuck with that line. And I hate that feeling so much. But I got very lucky with that build, and I absolutely had a lot of fun. I do want to try Scribing again, but I just don't have the time. I really don't.
Oh, okay.
I would literally have to literally take a whole month break from doing any kind of like Gundam content to do something like that, because that sucker's like time consuming. It took me like a good month to finish that.
Yeah, Scribing is time consuming, because I was wondering, because the more I see your pictures and the more that I see your work, and to me now, as as somebody who likes building and who wants to become better, I'm falling more in love with the way you paint.
Oh, thank you.
And more, I'm kind of putting the LED lights to the side, and I'm kind of looking more at your, like, we were talking about part separation. This level of slight, pre-shading, all of this kind of, because that really does bring something else to life. And I've only ever seen a couple of people that I really like the way they do it. And I've said it on the show many times. My favorite painters ever are It's a Gunpla and Saintism. And then I'm looking at this one, especially that picture over there on the left side on slide 32, the one with the white background. That one looks a lot. It's a lot. It's very reminiscent of Saintism's way of painting.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with his work, but I am familiar with him, but I haven't seen any of his work. Is that the kind of style he does?
Yeah, that's his kind of style. So okay, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is your painting is awesome. So yeah,
thank you. Yeah, really great. There was a time where I loved doing panel lining, but I feel like when I do the pre-shading, it kind of already does the job for you. So doing additional panel lines is kind of like a bonus. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It all depends how I feel. If I want to keep it nice and clean, or I want to make it like weathered or scarred or damaged, it just basically boils down to how the work ends up at the very end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very nice, man. Very nice.
Thank you.
Now, on slide 33, we have one of my favorite builds of last year and this year. Well, technically this year because I got it this year, but it's last year's kit. It's the master grade Dynames. And this kit is as solid as a rock. Okay. Let me just say that. I think this thing is so solid. I have it up there, and whenever I grab it, I feel like it's just not gonna move unless I put like pressure into it for like it to move. Whatever they did to those joints, they need to do to every other kit ever again.
I agree,
right? Because it's a rock. But anyway, what was your design philosophy behind mainly the coloring? Because one thing that I've always said is I hate the original Dynames color. It's too cartoony. It's too bright. You went more for like a kind of like military, not military. I want to say darker green. Right?
Yeah, I think I was like inspired by the ever so popular Spartan 117 Master Chief, and I was like, I like that green. I don't like this dark green, but I want to mix between two different tones. I wish I had more photos, but I'm using two different tones of greens for this particular kit. One that's a little bit more of a softer, earthier green, while one's more military-esque, more grittier, more darker. And you can kind of see the soft green behind. Oh god, I forget the name of the weapon. It's actually right back. It's right behind the shoulder blade, and you see that one blade section is like a triangle. That's like a softer green. Whereas the one on the panel on the far left, that's a darker one. So I had to be very careful when I did that, while at the same time, if I was going to do some like light weathering with some like a little light rust, I needed to make sure that the brown I used didn't like over complement the green. It kind of made it look natural, at the same time makes it look very dynamic. And I wanted to do that. And plus, I was coming off of the heels of building the perfect grade Exia around that time. So I'm like, I'm going to take what I learned from that kit and then implement it onto this little dude and see what I can pull off. So I wanted the thighs to light up, but I didn't want the light to be directly in the center of the plastic piece. That just looks really awkward. So what the perfect grade did is they put the LED on top and funnel the light going downward. So you put it from the top, you put it downward. Makes a nice gradient effect.
Like it looks source, right?
Yes. And it just makes it look really nice, keeps it nice and consistent. And the LEDs for the shoulders, that was just like a bonus. But at the same time, I didn't want that area to lose like any kind of like loss of surface detail, because there's like a lot of great detail underneath that shoulder blade, and I just want to put like little pilot lights in there. But nothing to the point where it would over contrast everything, because you got two different types of blues and greens, and I think that the hardest part with this kit was putting the LEDs in the head, because there's like 3 different clear pieces there, and overcrowding it with too many LED lights, you can end up breaking something because that visor goes up and down, and there's only so much room you can work with that. So I end up using I think 3 Pico LEDs to make it work. And then I think this was like the first kit where I started really experimenting with, instead of sticking with just like the classic green LED lights, I wanted to really work with blue and see how they contrast really nice with clear green parts. And the effect actually works surprisingly well. This kit was great. I had so much fun building this guy. I didn't expect it to turn out the way it did, and I ended up really rewatching the show over and over again just to make sure I got every angle I could possibly get it. And I hope they do more. I would love to see a perfect grade of this one. This will be great.
Oh, for real.
You know,
because how fun is it to build, especially a double O, right? Kit like this one that obviously has all these clear pieces for GN drive, stuff. Like, how fun is that for somebody who focuses on LED lights?
It's a challenge.
I feel it's more of a challenge than a normal one, you would say?
Because you don't have any like blueprints on what you're going to do. It's pretty much a giant guessing game. But at the same time, like, here's a good example. Like, I was just going to put LEDs in the eyes and in the torso. But then I thought about that. I don't want to put just a straight LED in the torso. I want to have something that has like a pulsing effect. It just glows in and out. Okay, that looks really cool. And I remember building the Exia. It had glowing bits on the knees. What if I put an LED there? Okay, cool. Okay, there's plenty of cavity space in the forearms. Okay, I could put an LED there. So your imagination starts to go very wild on what you can do with the limitations you have, while at the same time what you have in your arsenal for LEDs. So I made sure that if I'm going to use these correctly, there are some sacrifices of things I can't do. And I think I remember the biggest problem I had was trying to put LED lights in the engines and back of the on the mobile suit. They worked, but they didn't create the effect I wanted. So what I learned from this one, I'll definitely implement it onto the Curios. But yeah, like I always tell everyone when it comes to doing LEDs for these kits, I don't have like a written diagram how I'm going to do it. I don't have like a game plan. It's just like I'm kind of go on the feelings. See what works, see what doesn't work. What can I change? What can I cut? What can I modify? What can I add on to it to make it a little bit more better? What do I need to take out? What can I add in? I was experimenting with different forms of illuminating the eyes by putting like a small little piece of tracing paper behind it. Because if you just put a direct LED light in front of it, it's just going to refract everywhere. It's going to look really awkward on the photos too. But if you put something behind the eyes to diffuse it, now both of the eyes are properly lit up. Simplest little thing. And I learned that when I was just taking photos of the Gunpla. I'm like, oh god, this light's too bright for this photo. I need to diffuse it. Hey.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, I got tracing paper. I can put that behind the eye. So there's a lot of improvising. But at the same time, there's a lot of ways to work around it with your limitations. But at the same time, that's what makes it really fun. Every kit that I work on, there's no game plan. I know that I want to do something with it, but at the same time, what can I change? What can I add to it? And what can I improve on it? Sometimes you improve too much to it, it ends up just crumbling.
Oh, no.
And that's the one thing I didn't want to do when I improved on this little guy. I just want to make sure that he looked cool and I can pose him. Because if I didn't pose him, in my eyes, that's a failure.
Oh,
I went a little too wild. And because of that, I compromise it. So I got very lucky on this.
Oh,
super lucky.
You got in a really good pose, that's for sure. I was gonna say.
Oh, that was hard. That was probably by far the hardest pose.
Oh yeah.
I just, god dang it.
I'm looking at it. I'm like noticing that where the knee is, there's a glow there where his like the front of his shin. So I was like, holy shoot. So you have a wire bending right at the knee there.
Yes.
In multiple areas, I say. But
man.
It makes it look solid. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it still works. So I'm very happy with that.
There's your win.
So you still have this kit then?
Yes, I do. And I've been asked by a lot of people if I've been wanting to sell it, and I've had to turn it down. There's something about the Dynames I just find it really sexy.
So
I don't know what it is.
Kit. So it's a sexy kit.
So you have built the double. You got the Exia probably, right? Or do you build the actual Exia yet, or no? Are you thinking?
I did build 2 Exias in my time. but I didn't do anything custom with it at all.
So you got the Dynames, and you're going to the Curios. So
Yes.
in the future, when the Virtue comes out, the big sumo.
Oh yeah, the squee.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I'm actually very excited because my theme is I always want more of the guns. The best, more the better. Personally, I'm gonna be curious when you actually to build that because I know it separates. I wonder how that's going to turn out.
Oh, I already got some ideas how I'm going to pull that off.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah. Now we all are waiting.
Yes.
Now we're
Pay attention, everyone.
Yeah, without I will be. Yeah.
I think one of the kits you should do, looking at this Dynamis, I think one of the kits I would love to see you do is the master grade Quanta full saver.
I've been getting a lot of requests of that. Yeah, it's going to happen.
That has so much.
I think that would be a great kit for you to do.
Yeah, it's going to happen, guys. I promise you that. If not before the end of the year, maybe towards the beginning of next year, it's going to happen. The thing is, that kit's really hard to find. I literally swung by my hobby shop like a couple hours ago, and I remember they had 2 Exias there, and I was like, "They're $64. It's fine. No one's going to buy them. I'll come back next week." They're gone.
Oh.
They are gone. It's really cool, but at the same time, kind of interesting how things are right now, because that my local hobby shop, which is Burbank Hobbies, they even said it today when they were talking to a customer. They usually sell like maybe 10, maybe 15% of their inventory for their model kits. And since this pandemic has hit, they're selling like 50% of their products every week. Yeah. Their shelves for Gunpla is always gone. I'm super shocked with that. So if you get a chance to get a kit, get it while you can. Well, just keep it in the backlog.
Keeping in touch with a lot of hobby stores, I've seen that trend happening more and more every day, every week right now. It's because like every time I go to a shop now, like even the big box stores, it's sad. Is you're looking at it and say, yeah, we just don't have the inventory yet. They're waiting like 2 weeks to get their inventory in some places, and it's crazy. Oh, I got Noble Mecha here. He asked a funny question right now. How many lights do you usually use for suits?
I don't know. You kind of got to be more specific.
Hey, there you go.
If I would throw a number, I would say close to like maybe 15, 10.
I would say the average.
It all depends on how my brain works. If I want to put some LEDs in the thrusters, that's where my imagination gets kind of wild. It all depends on what I have, what I can work with, and what my budget is. Like I mentioned before in the last podcast, I like try to keep the budget between $60 when it comes to buying these lights. And once again, to reiterate, I don't get them for free. I paid after my own money. And thanks, like for you guys and the viewers that watch the video, the ad revenue I get from the YouTube channel helps pay for those lights. So the guys that do watch it, and you guys watch it, it helps out tremendously. Yeah. So in a way, it works out. So
yeah, it does. It does.
It comes back around.
One of my so for you guys out there in the audience right now, just letting you guys know that we will be asking him questions whenever you guys ask him on the chat. We also have some other questions for him, and today we don't have a limit on the time. Obviously, we're not going to go to a 10-hour show. Maybe, no, I'm kidding, but we are going to take our time. Don't worry about it; it'll be fine. But anyway, going back to the topic, nowadays, especially with the with this whole COVID nonsense, everything is gone whenever you go to a hobby store, right? So like the other day when I was building the RG Ava, the only reason I got it was I was actually going to get the sniper too. I was talking to Patrick from Shoebox, so shout out to Shoebox. I was talking to him, and he had 2 RG Avas, one which he ordered specifically for me and for another one of our friends, Brian, in our group. And I was like, all right. So my wife was like, all right. So either you get the sniper 2, or you get the Ava one right now, right? You're not gonna take both of them, right? Or I'm gonna beat you when we get home. So I was like, no, I gotta choose one, right? So I asked Patrick, I'm like, hey, how easy is it for you to get your hands on another sniper too? And he's like, oh, that's extremely easy. He's like, but the RG Ava 1, I don't know when I'm gonna get it again, and it's been out since like April or something like that. So that's the only reason I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the RG Ava 1. The sniper 2, I always see it on stores. I'm out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But it's also a good thing because it means people in the hobby are seeing that you have to stay home.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a blessing in disguise, man. It helps out a lot of the mom and pop shops tremendously, and I'm for that. You know, but for us builders, it's like I gotta wait for 2 weeks until I can find another flat white. You're all out. Okay, I'll just buy primer somewhere else. Oh my goodness! I mean, like I said, it's a blessing in disguise, but it's kind of frustrating at the same time.
It's a curse because for the first 3 months of the pandemic, we didn't have any primer in here.
Yes, same thing here. Yeah, that was weird.
Worth its weight in gold. Like, I remember just talking to, in this case, Shoebox. I'm going to keep talking about Shoebox because they're the best. I was like, hey, once you get primer in here, you need to like put some aside for me. And so they did. You know, Patrick is awesome. So he put away like 6 or 7 bottles for me. And it was definitely a curse because 3 months without primer, wanting to do something, you can't do anything without primer.
No, you can't. And on top of that,
I just don't like them. And I did learn how to decant though. So shout out to Kevin on that one. But yeah, how to decant.
I remember it was like super difficult just to find some semi-gloss coat. They were all out of Tamiya, and then I went to Mr. Hobby. And I'm like, you guys got any semi-gloss? Oh yeah, $22 a bottle. Yeah. All right, like the bullet. Give it to me. I'll take it. Shockingly enough, that stuff worked way better than Tamiya. I don't know why. It actually holds up very well, and I'm actually able to do some pretty decent panel lining with that stuff. So I mean, it is expensive, but it pays off.
Price.
Yeah,
I absolutely say it works.
I guess the word
pays
worth
off.
it.
You wanted to say something. What's up, man?
Oh no, I'm just remembering our friend who, what was it? I'm gonna bug you, Brian. I'm so sorry. The amount of top coat he adds into one real grade is unreal. And we were talking about like if it costs you about $22 for say can. I think I seen him use 3 cans on one real grade.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Same thing when it comes to building a perfect grade. You'll end up spending like close to like maybe $80 on 4 cans.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
yeah.
I feel like just regular bottled primer is way better in an airbrush than spray because you can actually control where you want it, how much you want to come out.
I agree.
So that's why I just kind of went to decanting, whenever I can. But even then, you get a small amount from. It's funny how little of primer there is in a can.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? That I paid $12 for this?
You paid more for the actual air than the paint.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm feeling that pain, dude. That's the reason why I'm starting to really transition to just using primer with my airbrush. I can't afford to buy them in cans anymore. It's $15 every time. So, man, that's why I'm glad I transitioned to using black primer on certain parts of kits. That's like mad. I had like 1 bottle that lasted me for like 3 months, building like kits after kits for like every 5 weeks. And I was super excited. So I went to the hobby store. I was like, I'm buying the big one, guys. Just give it to me. I'm like, all right, here you go.
Well, talk about black kits. I gotta say, holy shoot, this guy is the big guy. He's pretty big.
Mazinger!
Yes.
Funny thing about this kit, I had no interest in building it.
Really?
Until I watched the movie. And I was like, this movie's dumb. I like it. It's one of those movies you just turn your brain off and just enjoy the splendor of just all this dynamic animation and over the top screaming attacks. I'm like, I gotta build this kit. This anime is so freaking cool.
Just real quick, I want to shout out to my mom. So I'm gonna say this in Spanish. Pero este es el Mazinger Z o el Mazinger Z de James y está hermoso. So my mom loves Mazinger.
Oh, get out!
Oh, there you go.
She loves So that's the only reason. When I first started this hobby, one of the first kits that I bought afterwards was the high grade Mazinger Z from the movie. It's the only reason I bought it because of my mom. So and she always watches the show, so I just wanted to, she loves this piece. Hence why last time I was like, I really want to get into it because I know my mom loves this guy.
I wish you said that. I want to put more photos in there. Dang it!
Don't worry, there's more down below. I can flip through them really quick. I think let's see. I think
Yeah, they are. There they are.
There.
Yes.
There you go. But yeah, I was looking at this kit before because we have some close friends that actually wanted to get the 160 grade Mazinger Z, and to be honest, when I first saw like just the straight build out of the box at the shop there, I said, "Holy shoot, that thing is big!"
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way they actually sort of separate the designs on there. And I noticed you put the chest light on that one. It looks so neat, and his eyes.
Yeah. I actually figured out a better way how to illuminate it now, but I was kind of like working with like limitations with the lights I had. I know a better way how to do it correctly, but I wanted that to be not only the main feature of the kit, but also the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like super, because I noticed that I kind of got the color accuracy wrong. Mazinger's eyes are more like a soft white instead of like a yellow. I know I screwed up on that, but I was kind of going off of watching the film and what I saw from other source materials. But yeah, it was like one thing I would love to fix. It would definitely be the eyes. That's like my only complaint.
They're still yellow. Like, so the reason I stood up was because I got this guy.
Hey-o!
Yep.
So
Bandai, make that a perfect grade. Come on, man.
There you go.
I'd be more than happy to build that. That was a super fun kit.
That is
Jesus.
really cool. I actually have yet to buy one of these yet. I should, but I haven't yet.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
how hollow is it inside? I was watching your video. It's pretty hollow inside, right?
Pretty hollow. Yes. Yeah. Got thick legs, thick thighs, a lot of room to work with. But great panel lining surface. Great range of like doing custom painting. I wanted to go for like a weathered look, like it was like left abandoned, and like I had some. I think I have it with me. Well, not the same one. Here it is. Tamiya Weathering.
Oh,
it's not the same one, but it is the same brand.
Mr. Hobby.
Okay.
And I use this one a lot. But yeah, this stuff's great. It's oil based, but it works really great when it comes to doing like good surface detail. And a lot of people were really surprised I ended up using it with an airbrush. And you'd be surprised the kind of effects you can pull off with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can use that straight into the airbrush and it works just fine. You actually get way more better dynamic look to it. Do like a nice soft gradient effect to it. And that's what I did, like hopping between the two, doing it airbrush, and then I just did manually with the streak with the brush afterwards. So you have like a lot of flexibility to work around with it. I would say probably the biggest challenge with this kit was the backpack unit. That was like really difficult to work with because one, I was already comfortable doing pre-shading with just using black and then using a color to over it to complement it. I was like, if I don't change this around enough, it's going to be too distracting, while at the same time, it's not going to flow cohesively with the red. So I ended up using like a darker brown instead of a flat black. And it actually worked very well without making it too bold. That was like the main focus. I don't want it to be too bold, while at the same time I want to make it nice and consistent. And I felt I did a good job really implementing it the way I wanted. If there was one thing I would probably improve on, probably a little bit more weathering on the backpack unit, but I think my biggest challenge was just making sure that the yellows look like yellows and the reds look like reds. Because if they don't, then it would definitely catch my attention. It would really bug me. But that's just how my brain works.
Oh man. Oh.
It looks like a cool kit. It looks like it's a huge kit. I know one of our friends, like Derek was saying, Sean is waiting for his to arrive. He loves it also, so it's a beautiful kit. One thing that I do want to say though with this one, it seems like it was rather difficult to kind of light up the middle part, since you can see the main focus of the lights here, right?
Yeah, that had to deal with with constraints. There's a better way to illuminate the eyes. What I was trying to do was paint the tiles behind, like the V section, with like a metallic silver, like a titanium silver, and I thought that would be enough to refract it where it would look really bright. I then found out afterwards when I was done with the kit, maybe one central light wouldn't work. Maybe something else would have worked better instead of using that particular way. And I ended up finding out from Evans Designs that they actually end up making a purple light. And that actually has a way more better spectrum of light refracting than a typical yellow LED light. So I missed out on it just by a week. And I was like, dang it. Oh, well. Hopefully they make another mega size down the road. I'll be more than happy to build it. I'll just wait.
There's a wish list coming, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bandai definitely watches the show, so we'll just have to tell him again. Just make sure you make it for us. That's about it.
Yeah. Yep. There's some ideas there.
Let's go on. Let's go on to right the 135th scale core fighter. It's a beautiful piece right here.
Yes.
I think it's on slide 35.
Yes, got it.
There it is.
Yes. So what's the story behind
there was a point in time where I wasn't getting comfortable painting the small little pilots. I really need to figure out what was like a good way to really paint these guys as best I can. So I felt the best way to do like a good trial run was to build the core fighter. But at the same time, I've always wanted to build the core fighter. It is a simple kit, but there is tons of customization that can be applied onto this little guy. So I knew there were some things that I would lose when it came to customizing this model kit, which was like the transforming gimmick. So I wouldn't be able to actually transform it like with the nose going downward and inward into the main cavity. But what I know I would have could have worked with was putting LED lights in the control panels, as well as one in back of the seat area, so that way you can fully see the pilot. And on top of that, while getting comfortable doing more flexibility of putting LED lights in really small, tight areas, I really wanted to get better at painting these figurines because I felt I was kind of weak at that. I didn't know what was like the right kind of color balance, what was the right kind of thinners to do panel lining, what were the right kind of brushes? Can I airbrush certain parts? Can I opt out not using airbrush? And I think around this time I was starting to fully convert into using Vallejo model paint. So it's great as I love Tamiya paint. There's some limitations to their choice of their color library, and Vallejo has a way more brighter spectrum of different types of yellows and reds and blues, and at the same time, it was actually a little bit more affordable when I got the paints. At my local, well, I live in California, everything's expensive, so if you get lucky, you go to a hobby shop and they have it for like a sale, which they always do on a Saturday. I'm gonna jump on that. So I made sure I bought myself the Vallejo color set that had all the flesh tone colors because I wanted to get comfortable with that, and then I wanted to really understand the different color spectrums of blues because I was using like one particular blue, that classic Gundam blue color. To me, it has it, but it's not quite Gundam enough in my opinion. So Vallejo's medium blue is just beautiful. You can actually pull off some really cool effects with that when you do appreciating. So I wanted to implement that on this kit, while at the same time I really wanted to get comfortable with doing unique water slide decals because these are really different. I'm not used to doing, fighter jet model kits except for the Macross. I'm not used to that. So once again, this is like one of those kits where I wanted to take a break from building Gunpla, which it is a Gunpla, without a doubt. It is part of the same universe, but something different, something at the same time that can break out of my habits and try something new. So what if I don't feel comfortable painting those small little areas in the landing gear with a nice soft silver? Why not give it a shot? Break out of that habit, really focus on those areas that most people would ignore. But at the same time, I wanted to try something really drastic and try something really cool and exciting. So that's pretty much it with this kit. Just overall fun.
Oh man,
just overall fun.
But I gotta appreciate a lot of the detail you actually. Sorry, Jess, but yeah, I really do appreciate the detail and actually looking at. Here's the picture of the cockpit there. I thought that is actually really, really well detailed. Actually, for this 135 scale, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was going to say for the LED on the fins of the plane, like how difficult was that to wire that through because that looks obnoxiously thin.
Believe it or not, it wasn't that hard.
No,
it really wasn't. Like there's already like a sculpted piece that's supposed to like represent like where like the hazard lights would be. I had to cut that out and drill like a tiny little hole in that little area, and just enough room in there where I can stick in a Pico LED and then face it upward where it's like fleshed onto the plastic. The green, however, is a little more brighter than the red. If I had a chance to work on this again, I would probably put like a flat base just to desaturate just enough so that we don't get that weird twinkle effect. But that was, I think the reason why it wasn't that hard, the reason why I say it wasn't that hard, because I already had experience using this exact same method on the Macross model kit. Even though it's much more bigger, the fundamentals are still the exact same. You know, the only difference is the Macross kit has clear pieces, where this one doesn't have any clear pieces on the wing section. So you kind of have to improvise.
Okay. That's actually pretty nice.
Words of experience there.
The one of my favorite things whenever I look at your LEDs is whenever you put them into the boosters, right, in the back. Like, is there like a reason why you always use blue, or is this like a blue white? Like, what kind of color would you put into these?
Well, originally I was looking for a softer blue, like a sky blue, but that particular blue is the only one that Evans Designs had at the time. The good thing is they actually did come up with a soft blue that I like. So in a way, it works out. I didn't want to go for something like an orange. I didn't want to go for like bright reds. I was looking at a lot of references from actual fighter jets to see how the color spectrum would look, and a lot of it's like a hot white.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that look. It would end up looking like headlights, like you would see in front of a car, and I didn't want that effect.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of wanted to stay consistent on what you would see in the anime. You know, nice soft blues with the thrusters, with a little bit of a hint of white in there. So that's the key reason why I stuck with that color.
Did you feel like you actually got better with the painting of the models after you did this kit? Is it like because like you were saying, right, that was your main goal when you did this one, right, was to kind of practice that. Do you feel like you got better at it?
No, and that's just me being really hard on myself. The kit I just finished was a testament of me finally feel that I did it. I finally got over my fear of going to the next step, because I think the biggest challenge with this kit was learning how to find detail with a brush. Like with the missiles you have right here, there's like a nice thin black line there. You know, you can easily just use like a Sharpie pen or a marker and just do it that way. But there's such a balancing act when you're using a fine tip brush, where you just have to just swerve it around just right where it looks nice and consistent. Because that's like the biggest thing I remember a lot when I went to art school. When you're drawing, you don't want to stay constricted when you're drawing, you know, because you're going to throw out your wrists. It's going to hurt. When it comes to actually painting, you have to kind of like work your way with it. And you kind of like, what did my art teacher say? Her name was Marjan. She said, you have to pay attention to the axis. You have to pay attention to the gestures when you're painting. And once you get that flow right, then everything else becomes easy to you. So doing fine details on, I believe her name is Sayla. Am I correct?
Saya, yeah.
Sayla, yes. So like doing the fine little red linings on her jumpsuit was surprisingly not that hard, because like I started to practice more and more doing fine details with a thin brush. So repetition over and over again, and the more you get comfortable with it, the less that fear starts to creep up. And I did it. I probably going to practice more on doing more small little figurine paintings, but that's like an art within itself. I am so fascinated with that. I got to do more research on that. But I think this was probably like the breaking point where I was like, okay, I think I've gotten comfortable doing core fighters. What's the next hardest one out there besides doing like a kit bash or a resin kit? You know, what's the next hardest Gunpla kit that I can really get my hands on and try it out? Haven't really found one yet, but I know one will eventually creep up.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I honestly think it looks great, but like you said, it's kind of that thing where somebody can tell you, no, you did amazing, it looks great, but you know, as an artist and as the creator, like, no, I kind of screwed up here, I kind of messed up here, I could have done this better. It's always gonna happen. It looks amazing. But going on to the next kit, which is one of my favorites, and it's absolutely one of my wife's favorites, if not her favorite suit, along with the Sosby. It's the Red Astray.
Oh my goodness, love this mobile suit so much. Oh my.
So real quick, Derek, how's your perfect grade Astray coming along?
Why does it always hatch back at me? It's so bad. I'm still building mine, just FYI. It's been like a year and a half now. It's all clean pieces, but I'm actually making mine as green Astray. Yes, sorry for all the red Astray front ends. I'm making mine a green Astray. So
cool.
It's still coming together. Don't worry, coming soon.
It's a running joke in the CGC, his Red Astray, how it's coming along. It's getting there. No, but
I understand that.
dropping that, this is a beautiful rendition of the piece. It's great. I really want to know what finish you did with it, right? Because we have a perfect gray, but it's not. This is the Kai version, right? This is the
Yes,
Kai.
this is the Kai
right?
version.
Yeah, we have the original PG. But what I love the most of this kit, and one thing that my wife loved also, is the legs. That
Yes.
clear piece that looks like it's just floating there. How?
Magic. Gundam magic.
There it is. Space magic. All right. Well, guys.
This piece.
I think what really prompted up that idea was I remember going. Oh boy, I'm going to sound old right now. I think it was 2001. I was going with my girlfriend at the time, which is now my fiance, to Grand Night, and I remember people having like these weird like Back to the Future visors where they were just like transparent and they had like green or blue LED lights like bouncing off of there. And I'm like, that's fascinating. The person's not gonna have a burnt out retina, but he looks really cool in the day and night. How did they pull that off? And I remember like just thinking to myself, oh right, you know, you're creating a hot spot onto the piece of plastic. So if you hit at the right kind of angle, you're gonna illuminate the whole plastic altogether. So I learned this way because I remember building the bootleg version of the red Frame Astray, and I remember trying to glow that area up itself, but I ended up having to do some drilling, and then I ended up sticking in there like a mega LED light.
Ooh.
And the biggest problem with those kits, they suck up a lot of juice, so I didn't want to put a mega in this one. So I ended up opting was putting in a chip LED light at one angle, and if I had the angle just right, it's going to illuminate that whole clear piece perfectly. And that's exactly what I wanted to pull off. You can see that like on slide there. 41.
Yep, that 41
that's
there.
where we're at.
I was looking
yeah, that
at
is
that.
that's one LED at one spot, and that illuminates the whole entire plastic. That gives you that nice effect.
It's so beautiful, man. Like this is
that is amazing,
Holy God.
man.
It's great.
That is actually amazing.
Yep. Because it looks like it's actually just floating there, you know, like it's just always been like it looks like it's light. And obviously, like you said, right, it's this one position you put it in and it just lights the whole thing up and it looks great.
Yeah.
Now, No, sorry. I was interrupting you. What did
you
no,
I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing. I was like, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Sorry. My question to you though is what finish, you know, like what top coat did you use on this kit?
For the white pieces, I end up using I use this a lot. I use Tamiya semi-gloss. This was like around the time when I was merging away from using clear or flat coat. Semi-gloss has like nice little sweet spot where things just kind of like work with each other at the same time. It leaves room to do some like panel lining or wash to protect the paint. As for the red pieces, this is something I kind of learned by accident. It was one day I was cleaning the house, and I happened to have some Pledge like cleaning floor solution on the floor, and I was like, God, this wood floor has come out the way I want it. I gotta put another coat on there. Another coat, shiny coat, shiny, and my fiance's like, you're thinking hard again, aren't you? Yes, let me think. Oh, I can use this as a top coat. I gotta go to the garage. She's like, yeah, just go ahead. So, like, the beautiful thing about that, the Pledge floor polish works great as like an application to protect your paint. So you get that nice little candy coat finish.
Oh, God.
Just by an accident. I just figured that out. I'm like, okay, I can go a little bit further. Okay, I don't want the reds to be like a candy red. Can I do like a gradient texture, like with a soft red with a yellow? What contrast is good with red? A flat metallic surface. I don't want the gold to be bright. Maybe like a titanium gold. Okay, that works. And then I apply a clear over that, but not too heavily, just enough where it creates a nice gradient effect on certain key areas. You know, really emphasize around the edges. And then once I let that dry, and then I apply the Pledge, which dries very fast when you use it on an airbrush. It just worked beautifully. The downside with that stuff is when it dries, and you can't remove it off because it'll end up just stripping the paint off completely. So when you do this with the airbrush and you're done, take that sucker out, clean that needle very fast with the nature alcohol because it will ruin the needle. Like, not ruin it to the point where it won't be functional, but since there's like a microfilm already like building up on the needle, it makes it very difficult to remove it. You know, that's like the magic. The microfilm itself is what creates that nice little sharp sheen that you would see on the red pieces, and that's what makes that magic really works. Because I remember doing this when I built the first red Frame Astray, and I just did a straight up build with, it was Tamiya Leaf Silver, and then a clear red, all aerosol cans. I must have blew like at least 8 cans, both of those, and I didn't like the look. It wasn't like bold. It didn't say menacing. It didn't say like I'm gonna get you. It just said like, okay, you build me, we're done. Shelf me. Move on to the next kit. And I didn't like that. But with this revision of this, I just love the legs. They did something really drastic with the leg design. I just loved it, and it just works. And I was like, man, I hope Bandai learns from these bootleg people that do their red Frame Astray and just really improve on it. And they did. And it looks super good. I was super happy because I think that was like the biggest problem with the red frame. The original one, the legs are a little too thick around the thigh area. I don't know why.
They're pretty thick.
Yeah.
The original idea.
But it came out looking great.
Like the original idea from like some of the original first build, like the 1/100s, they didn't think much about it because they thought about mass producing the molds. It's like it was not the best idea. They decided to. But then when they finally went to the perfect grade, I think they did the grade concept, and they actually moved that exact same molding line idea onto the real grade too, which is actually really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to this one slide, slide 40 there, because you managed to actually open the actual blade and had all the LEDs still working. I was like, that is something else.
That was hard. That was super hard. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. All right, we'll do it. Oh.
Well, there it is.
It was super difficult, man. But I'm happy how it turned out. If there was one thing I would definitely fix, is just not the kit itself. Probably just like presentation wise, how the photo looks. I would definitely pretty it up a little bit more better. But definitely that was the big challenge, making sure that I had enough lights to work with my limitations on what my power supply was going to be, and then work with it, because you can see it here at the very bottom. I'm using 2 different power supplies.
Yep.
You know, one that's powering the Gundam while one's powering the Saber, because if I plug those all into one AAA slot, the lights are going to be slightly dimmer. And those mega size LEDs, man, those things kill the batteries quick.
Oh, really?
Shoot. Yeah.
So
they are thirsty.
Oh, well, it shows. But do not, man, it looks so awesome. I love exactly. Pledge, seriously, finish.
Yeah, no joke, man. It works.
Pledge.
It's magic.
There it is. There it is.
Well, moving to, I would say slide 43. Everybody likes, right? Freedom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why isn't this
the one they're building in China right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, get out.
They are building a actual 1/1 scale right now in China. Actually, right now. Of the Freedom.
What?
Yeah. Now there's a lot of speculation if they're go have the wings open or not, because you know how even on the actual model, like how
they're huge.
How problematic it is to balance and to actually pose this kit without a stand, as it is.
Yeah.
So they're talking about it, and funny running joke. Freedom for China.
Yeah.
Running joke.
Oh, that's clever. I like that.
They're gonna build. They should probably build a huge action base for it too. You know, just a normal one, just a 1-to-1 action base. Put it on top. No, but this is a beautiful kit. This is one of the kits I haven't gotten my hands on. All of my friends basically have, who like build and paint. And I think it's like one of those original kits that everybody wants, right? At some point, I think it's because of the wings, obviously. The wings are a really big, iconic part of it. What are your thoughts on the kit in itself, right? And what did you do to it?
Well, first off, I didn't really care much for the Gundam Seed series for a time. I didn't get introduced into Gundam Seed until I played, it was the PSP Fighting Battle Arena game for the PlayStation Portable. And their biggest show for that particular game was Gundam Seed Mobile Suits. And I remember sifting through all the selections, like, oh, they look the same, they all look the same, nothing's different. Hey, this one looks kind of cool. It's very bold, and yet it says, I didn't even know the name when I didn't read it because it was all in Japanese. It says, I want to soar in the air, or I want to be free. It's very, very dynamic. I love the blues and the whites and the reds working one another. And I do remember I did build this kit in late 2000 and I want to say 14, 15. And I thought I did a good job with it, but I didn't do any custom painting. It was just a straight up build. And I was very curious at a time that they didn't implement any kind of LEDs with this kit because there's tons of cavity space in the head. So this is like another one of those kits where I'm really shocked they never did a mega size or a perfect grade. Seeing how popular Gundam Seed is still today, still relatively popular.
They did do a mega size.
No, this kit was.
They did do a mega size. I'm pretty sure of this guy actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they did. My little brother actually has one, but mine, I'll say this, it's a little off scale, I say.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The legs are very, very bulky.
Ooh.
So
I do remember that. I think I remember things like that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be big in order to hold it up.
Yeah, because the problem is the wings again.
And
I think I have it, but unfortunately I won't. Yeah, I'm not running upstairs right now to grab it. I'm pretty sure I get in trouble. But no, there is. I'm pretty sure there was a mega size of it, but I was at one point I was almost adamant that they should try and make a perfect grade for it, because they never ever did a perfect grade outside of the Stray.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the gold one with the gold frame?
Yeah. Let's see. They only, for the Gundam Seed series, they made the Strike, Freedom. I don't think they ever did do the Freedom perfect, did they?
I forget there's one with the gold frame.
The gold frame, that is the Asashiki. No.
Yeah, I don't know the name either. I forgot it too. But the design principles are exactly the same like this one.
Strike Freedom.
That's
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Q0, for answering that for me.
Thank you.
Strike Freedom.
Yeah, I'm like, the design aesthetics is exactly the same, but that sucker suffers with weight distribution with the wing section so bad. I still have that one in my collection, but I took that sucker apart. I just dislodged the backpack because that thing was becoming a problem. It started to have like nothing but just issues.
Yeah.
But this kid was great, man. I was able to do a lot more things that I never imagined. The only downside is when you attach it to the action base that comes with it, you're going to end up hiding the thrusters.
Oh.
That's the only downside.
It's like the one that just kind of juts out like this, right?
Yes.
And just grabs it. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's probably similar to the Destiny one, where it actually attaches right onto where the burners were. So
yeah, that's like the only downside. I think what I learned from building the perfect grade version, I ended up implementing it onto this one, and way more easier. I can tell you that, because I'm working with much more smaller lights and less of an issue of funneling these, 5 to like 8-inch length wires to one part to another. Very easy. I think the biggest challenge for this kit was finding water slide decals. There's not many people that make them. I mean, besides New Type, I think they do sell them. But when I was looking for on eBay, it was really difficult.
I think the LP Decal has some for him, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They have the gold, and I think just their...
They even have hologram, like the hologram.
I don't know if they have the holographics for this one, because I know Alina, my girlfriend, she bought tons of holographic ones, but it hurts my eyes every single time I look at them. They're too rainbowy.
They're too rainbowy, yeah. No, but the LP Decal, I don't know if you ever bought from them, but they sell a lot of water slides for a lot of kits. They also sell metal pieces for a lot of kits.
Okay, I'm going to have to look into that.
If you want to check them out online. We're not sponsored, obviously, by them, but they definitely have a large selection of of decals, and they're actually really great quality. Like, from everybody who has bought them, they always say they're really good, right?
Okay, I'm going to have to check them out then for sure.
Yeah, definitely check
that's
them
like
out.
one thing. Yeah, because when I build my kits, I just make sure I just go with water slides. I'm not a big fan of the stickers.
No. It's definitely one of the things that, honestly, I remember when I first got into the hobby, talking to people, or like not even talking, sorry, reading on Reddit mainly, that was like my main thing in the beginning, was the Gunpla subreddit, and people always were talking about how stickers are bad. Wherever you looked, everybody hates stickers. Everybody just hates them. They just hate them. I'm like, well, they're not that bad, right? That's what I thought because I had just began, and so I was just using them. But once I used my first water slides, which were on my master grade Verka, my double Zeta Verka, I used my water slides, and I'm like, holy shit, these things look like tattoos. And these are the Bandai ones, right? Because supposedly, from what I've read, Bandai doesn't make the best water slides either. So when you go aftermarket, when you go to aftermarket water slides, which is where I got my RG Sasabi water slides from Delphi Decal, they look great. You can't even tell that they're like, you can't tell anything. Obviously, because I also flat coated it and everything, and it helps kind of take that away. And I use Mark Setter or whatever, Mark Fitter. I've used that too on the Verka, but it just looks great. Water slides, you can't just go after you use water slides. You don't want to go back to stickers ever.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's crack.
It does.
Get addicted to it, man.
But they're difficult. I mean,
sorry, it's difficult, but by the time you finish it, it looks so nice and pristine. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
You don't want it to rub off or lift off, right? So that's one of those things that you really, really enjoy. And trust me, every single time I look at both anyone's kits, like even yours right now, look at the Freedom, like the wings, those insignia designs, it just looks like it's part of it.
Yeah, a nice flush look. Yeah.
So.
What do you know why Bandai doesn't just include them in regular master grades? Because I know obviously in P Bandai's they do. I have a bunch of water slides from
the
P
problem
Bandai's.
Is mass production. It's always been mass production issues. It's like if
that's what I've heard too.
It's if you mass produce one set and you don't go through all of them, it's just go sit there. It's just like the same thing with their runners. So they only create so much for one specific, and that's about it. They really try not to overboard it. Like, who knows, maybe if Bandai really, really wants to, they could make their own new lineup of Bandai decals, but
yeah, they're sitting on a gold mine, to be honest.
It's true.
They cornered
the market. Be like, you know what? Like, we could just make decals, water slides for every kit we make. Like,
do you know what they need to do? I would love if Bandai ever do this. Allow us to order replacement parts.
Oh my god, yes. My god, I must have bought like half a dozen kits when I lost something or damaged something. Oh,
in Japan, they actually allow you to actually order replacement runners. All they ask for you is to have the barcode and the pin number off the side of your box and inside the manual. That's it. And then you can actually get the individual runner that you want. You just pay for that. But in North America, you can't get that. You cannot get that. And I'm like,
no.
Yeah. I've been bugging Bandai, some of the guys there for a while. I say, come on, guys, you want to.
I'm telling you, Derek has the connections, man.
Plastic crack.
I was kidding.
Plastic crack.
I have a feeling they probably will. I mean, they are changing the way how they mass produce kits now. Yeah. They even said in one of their videos that they got at least 10 more years until they can make, one Gundam kit after another. And eventually they're going to need to broaden out their category of kits. That's the reason why they started doing Star Wars kits, and then a handful of Ultraman kits and whatnot, because they feel that eventually Gundam's going to burn itself out and they won't be able to make anything. That's why you're seeing a lot of unicorns every single year. You're going to see one new unicorn after another and after another, because that's their bread and butter, baby. Yep. They love it. They know that that's it.
Still milk it.
They got to fill out that quish.
It's like with video games, right? People complain about things, right? They complain about certain video games. But the main, if you really want to say no to something, you just don't buy it.
That's right.
The thing is, people buy the unicorn kits.
Yeah.
For as much hate as you can hear online for the unicorn kits, it's a small fraction of the people that actually buy them. And so even people who hate on them end up buying them. And so, if we want them to stop making unicorn kits, stop buying them. But no, I already know a handful of people who are going to buy the Master Grade Extreme lighting. What was it? The joke, extreme dynamic. I don't think. No, it's expression. Extreme expression of something. Did you thing for the MG Extreme?
I'll buy my I'll buy my next perfect grade. Thank you. I'll buy my next.
It's crazy, man. That you're crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry, James. We completely.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
So, going on.
So speaking of video games,
yes,
Metal Slug series, love that. played that game a lot back in the day at the Pac-Man arcade. 25 cents can get you a long way to play a game. And I remember building one Metal Slug tank 3 years ago, but it wasn't the one I wanted to build. I wanted to build that one, just that one, because I love the look. It's just this little cute, little adorable, dangerous weapon of mass destruction. Just love the aesthetic. The issues with this kit, I remember, was just the manufacturing of the plastic. It was really cheap.
Oh.
It was really, really, really cheap. And I had to be very, very careful not to break or bend things inappropriately. But this was like one of those rare like third-party kits where you can do a lot of customization. So I think I used a total of like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 LEDs. There's I don't have a back view, but I did use some LEDs for the brake lights in the back. And this kit was just super fun. I'm glad someone bought it because I wasn't gonna let it go. I absolutely love this little guy. I mean, jeez, I want a bigger one, but I think this is like the right side. This is like the right thing you would want on your office table, or in your collection.
One of these so badly on my office, like just to stay at my desk. Just to everyone, I know all my coworkers are geeky, and I love this thing for that. Like, you know what? The angry teeth, the caterpillar tracks, that used to get me so much. I looked at it back at the arcade. I love it.
Yeah.
Full of things that you build for your own taste, right? Like, well, basically everything you build is because you want to build it, something that interests you, right? And we were touching on this a little bit before the show, right? How it is that you build things that you want, right? That you like.
Yes.
Right? So since this is a video game that everybody has played, right? Because I even remember playing this in college still. So I'm 20, right? So I was in college, like a couple years ago. And whenever we were like in our design class, where we're supposed to be designing some stuff for engineering or whatever, but most of us, we would bring in a little flash, a USB flash card, whatever, just install Metal Gear real quick into our computer. So whenever the team is talking, just be playing Metal Gear, right? I mean, just sorry, not Metal Gear, sorry. What's it called?
Metal Gear, Metal Slug.
Metal Slug.
Yes.
Be playing it. Just install it, immediately play it. It runs on anything. Just go, But
that's super funny because I had a group of friends that did that back in high school. We were dealing like with Windows, like the old Windows 98 computers in our our library, and they had only like 5 computers there. And around nutritional time, they would end up installing Quake or Doom and just play multiplayer for that 15 minutes. And then when it was up, uninstall, we're out, and we're gonna do it again. Oh god, that was good times.
Those are amazing.
They end up breaking them.
Those are amazing times back in school. You can actually get away with that, and nobody knows the wiser.
Yes.
Any space. It's such a small program. But what I was trying to say is, in Mexico, James, since I know you're a very big fan of these, like, I don't want to say old, but kind of like these retro kind of things, right?
Yes.
In Mexico, they are still very popular, right? A lot of kids my age, I call myself a kid. A lot of people my age are still playing these games, right? They do enjoy these kind of like Mazinger Z is still very popular over there, believe it or not. It's kind of this beauty kind of seeing somebody say, "Oh, I'm gonna build this Metal Slug tank. It's gonna look nice. It reminds me of this. Seeing this, it reminds me of college. It reminds me of when I was a kid and playing this on the arcade. It's all fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
That's cool. I mean, I did my job.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Really impede on that nostalgia because, man, it was like back in the day, going to the arcade, there was these groups. You had your people that played Marvel vs. Capcom. You had your people that played Street Fighter Third Strike and Power Stones War. I'm pretty sure the handful of people that know what Power Stones is.
I still remember Power Stones. Holy shit.
Oh, such a good game. I know I'm getting off track. And then you got the people playing DDR game. But then you had like this one section in the arcade alcove where you had nothing but Neo Geo cabinets, and each arcade cabinet had like 5 games in them. You're like, oh, do I play Fatal Fury 2? Or do I play Wave Dash? Or do I don't know. I'm kind of interested in playing a side-scroller shooter. Nah, I'm going to play some Metal Slug.
Yes.
I'll get my $25 worth. Not 25 cents worth back in the day.
And you get your bang for the buck for playing that game because it's just easy as fun. And the moment you get your tank, you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Go keep on going. Like my goal is always try and get the tank.
Yeah, man. I mean, when that Neo Geo Mini came out, I made sure I bought that sucker immediately. I love that little arcade cabinet, man. It's so fun.
I wish they were still making. Well, not making. I wish there were still arcade centers. Like I remember when I was younger. I was like what 12. I was in Chicago. I was with my dad and my mom and my sister. We would go to a theater, and there was an arcade place literally right next to it. So while you're
Mhm.
waiting, it wasn't inside of the theater like it is nowadays, right? Because a lot of days movie theaters have like their own little arcade section. No, this was a separate business next door, and you just go over there and play arcade games. But you don't really see that a lot anymore.
No,
That's
arcades are dead here. They've been dead for
Unfortunately.
like the last 20 years.
You only
Sucks.
see them like in theaters here and there at times. That's about it.
Mm.
Sadly,
Yeah.
It's
Even
not
then
the
you don't-
same.
anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
not
think the
same.
closest one we have here is round one. That's close enough to like an actual like traditional arcade. Yeah,
Mhm.
but you'll never get that nostalgia feeling by using that quarter and hearing that coin drop sound. That is satisfying. That's the reason why I modified this guy. He literally has like literally a coin slot down there that didn't come equipped with it. But that nice little nostalgic sound, that's my baby right there. Love
So
that.
if we were to go to your house, we could put 25 cents in there and play.
Oh, you should do that.
Sure.
Here, just make sure you bring a whole rolls
Oh,
of quarters.
It's literally just there for the sound. You can actually put quarters in it. There's actually a quarter bucket there, but yeah, it's pretty much just there for nostalgic reasons. It's like the same. It's like the same thing you do what they have for that car sound when you close a door. It's
Okay.
there's no purpose for it. It's just that ka-chunk sound. That's
That's
not supposed to be there. They just put that in there just to make that sound so people can be familiar with it. It's the same thing like with the coin slot. Same thing.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right. Well, one of these days we'll take a separate episode we were talking. We'll just talk about video.
Sorry, guys.
Please do. I would love to do a game day.
Be able to geek out with somebody else, right? People will find that kind of connection. But going back into our Gunpla, we have a little nice SD kit here from you, which is the Earthree Gundam.
Yes.
Earthree.
So what is your opinion on SD kits?
How can I put this? They are good entry level kits, and they are just as fun to build as like a traditional master grade because now they have the new cross silhouette frame. So that adds like an extra bonus, especially for someone like me that just builds one master grade after another, or a different 1/100 scale model kit. What they are implying on, or not implying, what they're implementing onto these kits, it's really nice. I wish they had these back in my day when it came to building model kits. So I got nothing against them. They're great. They're great entry level. I get tons of like letters or messages from people who are fathers or mothers that are introducing their kids to Gunpla, and these little kits are like great entry levels kits to start them with. There is a drawback of learning how to do custom painting. Because there's some pieces on here that clearly will encourage you to use the stickers that come with the kits. But if you break from that habit and learn how to do custom painting, then it can have its benefits of being rewarding if you put the time and energy into it.
Yeah. What? So my question for you is: have you ever thought about buying the SD Neozong?
Yes.
Because that is a beautiful kit.
Yes.
And I could see you putting some LEDs in there and making it look really damn nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually built one? Have you built one?
Not yet. Not yet. I literally, for the first time in the last 7.5 weeks, I actually have a backlog of kits. So I'm literally good until like October, and eventually, if I do have some free time, I'll tackle something new.
Okay. Okay.
Oh man.
So is there a challenge when you approached an SD kit opposed to a master grade, or is it easier in this case to put LEDs inside?
Yeah, this particular SD kit was quite unique. I think it's one of the very first ones to have like clear eyes, if I remember correctly. Because the other ones I've worked on don't have any clear eyes, but they're two separate pieces. This one, however, was really different and unique. The only thing I wish it had like a clear part for the camera module, but that's fine. But the eyes, however, was like a really nice added bonus. But I do get a lot of requests when people ask me like, when you illuminate the eyes, why don't you put like the weird anime eyes in front of it? I've done it before. It just looks really creepy and goofy looking. I want to keep like the nice chibi and yet cool and menacing look instead of like the cartoonish look. You know, I like the separation between the two. So yeah, there's always a challenge working with kits like this because you're not dealing with like 20, you're not dealing with 15 LEDs, maybe like 5.
There's
very
5.
small ones, and you can get this like done in less than like 2 days.
Oh.
Just having good fun, and there's just enough cavity space in the head. And if you're using the cross silhouette frame, there's even more cavity space behind that too. Nothing negative about these kits. They're fun. They're super fun. Man.
You should be taking notes, Derek, since you have a bunch of SDs, right? That you want to.
I figured you were going to throw this at me again. Yes, me and my 42 SD kits. I'll get to there. Actually, I love cross silhouettes. Almost everyone, because our Gundam community, we almost run bi-weekly. We do a meetup, and I almost build one SD kit or a cross silhouette kit each each meetup in 2-3 hours.
They're fun, man. I'd never imagine doing this for a living that I would find so much fun building these small little kits because they take half the time to edit and they take half the time to build. But my goodness, they're so fun and they're adorable.
Well, this thing is awesome. It's really opposable. I gotta give Bandai props when they first came out with the whole cross silhouette idea, like to be able to upgrade it a little bit, not breaking the bank, upgrade it a little bit, and then now you get a little bit more posability and everything. That looks amazing, right? So
yeah,
you get both forms to it. So I really enjoyed it. So what do you think about the Earthree? Like, have you watched the new Build Divers like re-rise or?
You know what was really interesting about that show? I did watch the first 2 episodes and then I kind of forgot about it, and then they end up redubbing it, and then the way how the story was escalating, I'm like, oh, this is like by the numbers book. They're playing an MMO. There's NPCs, but there's something really odd about the NPCs. They're acting like actual living creatures, and then when you get to the very end of season 1, you're like, holy. This is a real world.
Yep.
These are real creatures.
Yep.
On a different planet that is being overrun by an AI that thinks he knows what he's doing is right. I'm like, oh, I'm hooked. Yeah. I gotta finish watching this. I was super shocked at how good that was, and I loved it. But I've been hearing a lot. I've been hearing a lot of the grapevines that the next episode looks. Their combination form looks kind of odd.
Yep, don't remind me. I've seen the Instagram feed already. I'm like, what in the world? We're not playing Super Robot Wars here, are we?
Yeah, I got hit up on Instagram. They were like, Otakubuilder, you gotta check this out. This is something that'd be really cool. You would build. Like, yeah, okay, let me check it out. And I saw the little clip on Instagram. I'm like, huh. Getting kind of a Power Rangers kind of vibe here.
I do. I felt that too. It's like combine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
all right.
That's cool. I'll be able to chat with everyone next Thursday. Watch it together. Sure. Probably not gonna buy it, but yeah, sure. What makes everyone happy? That's all that matters, man.
I saw the box art for that already. I said, okay, sure, let's go with that.
Is it like really big?
It's really big. It comes with all 4 in a kit.
Oh my god.
4 of them.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I gotta check that out.
Yep.
I gotta check that out. Oh man. Yeah, nothing against the new season. It's good. It kind of teeters between being childish while at the same time being mature. Yeah. I think the one aspect I love about the show is the characters themselves. There's great character development. You haven't seen character development like this since Gundam Build Fighters, and that has some flaws with it too. But at the same time, you really want to get invested into the characters. And I felt that season 1 in Gundam Build Fighters did that. Season 2, not as much. It was a little annoying. And then the newer version, which I would honestly, that's more for little kids. I didn't like it.
I wasn't a huge fan of it either. Don't get me wrong. I'm always there for the mechs. I love them.
Sure.
But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's like, I like the character development. It's got a more serious tone to it. Right?
Yes.
So, and that's what draw me into. And I love the entire Earth, like the whole core Gundam design. At first, I was very, very meh about it. Like, what do you think? It's like weird, not SD. It's not quite a SD. It looks like very, very short Gundam.
Yeah. Yeah, it has like the nice aesthetic to like, is it an SD? Is it a master grade? Is it a high grade-ish? I
Yeah.
don't know. There's something that's really bold, but at the same time kind of exciting about the design. I kind of dig it. And then he has like all those little modular attachments to it. I was like, okay, it's growing on me. Where's the master grade coming out? I want to try it out. And I don't think we'll get it.
I don't think so. It's just gonna be really awkward because you're like getting a high grade now, becoming a master grade.
Yeah.
Hey man, I take notes. I don't know if you really want to try to traverse this one.
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, guys. Well, on slide 53, we have your Zeta Gundam, right? With the
53.
base and all colored up.
Yeah. Oh boy, Zeta.
Wait. What is this? Oh boy, what happened? What's up with this kid?
No, this kid was fun. No.
Oh, okay.
Nothing but love and respect, dude. I love the 80 aesthetic designs for these mobile suits, dude. They're cool. I'm looking forward to building the perfect grade this year.
Ooh.
And that was like basically my entry level. It's like, okay, if I can figure out a system that can work with this master grade and I can apply it on a perfect grade,
Yeah.
I think I can, favor both worlds where I can have it in the Gundam form while having it in the core fighter mode. The tricky part is going to be recording it in those really drastic angles because I only have like very little workspace here in my office. So I got to figure that out. But no, this kit was super fun. I loved it. Loved it. I'll say it again. I just love 80s aesthetic designs of mobile suits. There's something that's very familiar. I guess kind of like Transformers. I guess that's kind of the reason why I like it. Super familiar.
I particularly like the little pilots
Mm-hmm.
and the little workers. I actually have that one with the red with the little lighting beacons.
The two batons.
Coming in here.
Yeah.
Where is that? Did that one come with that kit, or is that a separate one?
No, it comes with it. Yeah.
Oh.
It's two pieces, right? You can take off the arms, and you have to like connect them. Because I have that one, and I've been asking. It was gifted to me by my boy Kevin, and he doesn't remember where it's from. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, does it come with that? I don't know if he has the Zeta, but
yeah, those are two separate pieces, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it might be that one. Yeah. So this whole base thing, it's really just ready to take off and go into fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many LEDs would you say this one has? Because I can see a bunch in the back. We actually have a back shot here on slide 55.
Yeah. Let's see. Dang, it's hiding it. I think there's like 5 underneath there, underneath the skirt. Yeah, 5 there. 2 LEDs for the eyes, 1 for the camera, and then you got the 2 thrusters in the back. That was tricky because that actually has like a sliding mechanism that goes up and down. So if you put too much tension on one spot, you'll end up breaking the LED. That was like a big challenge. So, this kit was a beast when it came to putting LEDs. Because I always kept on thinking back in my head, remember, James, you got to make sure you transform this guy. That is your primary goal. Everything else is second. If you just do the wiring correctly and you put things where they need to be, then you can transform it. And I did. I managed to do that. But man, putting it back together afterwards was a mess. Okay. Absolutely a mess. But I love I think that was one thing that caught me off guard. I didn't know it came with an action base. And that was super refreshing to get that. And I was like, oh, okay. So this connects to another mobile suit? That's part of the same universe? Okay, cool. Which one does it connect to? Oh, right. Dang, I can't get it because I already have a perfect grade version of it. Dang it. Well, I can't do it now. I gotta move on.
Yeah. You're talking about the Mark II, right?
Yeah.
It's I think when they come with their own action bases, it's pretty cool. Because only a few kits have them, right? I think the more expensive ones have them.
Yes.
I know the Full Saver, the Quanta Full Saver, the one I was telling you should build, also comes with a little bit of its own base, not for the kit itself, but for its sword,
right?
And for the shield and everything, because the sword is huge, right? It's heavy.
Well, it's the length of his entire body.
But there are some kits that I know for a fact you need to have a base. I think you actually mentioned this in your Barbatos video. You said if you're gonna get this kit, you're gonna need an action base to pull off everything else.
Yes.
Because you do. If you do not put the Barbatos on an action base when you post it, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna unless you do the Artorias from Dark Souls post. You know the Artorias post. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Where he's holding a club like this with his arm down. Have you played Dark Souls?
No.
Don't worry.
The last thing I played anything Souls related was Sekiro, I believe.
Oh, Sekiro. Okay, nice.
Yeah, that was like the last thing I played. I could never get into Soul games, man.
Please don't.
They're freaking hard.
Shoot.
Yeah, and I know like games that are challenging, man. I love games that are challenging. That thing made me rage so hard.
So
anyway,
okay, so funny story, real quick. Since you brought that, well, I brought that up, and then we kept going on it. You need to.
We still need to do a gaming episode.
I would definitely recommend for you to play Dark Souls 1 at least. At least give it a go. I played it, put it away for 6 months. My wife was like, "Why the hell did you buy this game if you're not gonna play it?" I'm like, "This game is making me rage. Like, I'm not doing this. This is really pissing me off because I hate losing. I'm a very competitive guy. I hate losing. So when I play a game, I want to become the best at the game. Doesn't matter what I'm playing. That's the way I am with Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty on the PlayStation 4 with my friends on their PC. I'm the most competitive out of them all, even on League of Legends, right? I want to be the best. But in Dark Souls, it really kicked my ass. It really did. And honestly, there's a meme of the get good, right? You have to get good.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Eventually, now I can speed run that thing so fast.
Are we talking about get good from Maximilian, dude?
Oh.
No, we're talking. Yes. No, is it from?
You're familiar with Maximilian, right?
Yes.
From Video Games?
Yeah, but I think it's not from there unless I don't know if that's where it came from. I do know that the Dark Souls get good meme became a meme in itself in the community.
Yeah, I think he kind of implemented on one of his videos he did many years ago when he used to live in his old house. He was portraying as a fictional character that just played nothing but fighting games and just got angry and got really visceral, and then he turned into the Scrub Lord. And he had like makeup, black lips, and retro glasses and fingernails. Yeah. And if you get a chance, Maximilian is such an incredible guy. He's like one of my big inspirations when it comes to content creator.
Yeah. I've definitely heard of him though. But yeah, definitely play it.
Yeah,
that's
I'll
where
check
the
it out.
Artorias post comes from. Everybody on Reddit, everybody on Instagram also tried the Artorias post. It was everywhere. Kind of got sick of it. The point is, kits would be better if they came with their own action bases in order to post, right?
I agree.
Because one of the biggest, not one of the biggest, but one of the bulkier guys on 57, jumping from the Zeta over to the full armored double Zeta, the Foz, right?
Foz. Not even Zeta. He's not even a double Zeta. It's the Foz.
Yeah.
The full armored. Well, that's what it stands for, right? Full armored double Zeta Gundam.
Is that what it said? Oh, I thought it was just an acronym. Just like, no, he's the Foz.
The Foz was actually a prototype before the actual double Zeta, like with the full armor, because they wanted to test the equipment before they threw it on that guy. But it turned out that they just kept all that heavy armaments onto that. The Foz unit was actually meant to be like the double Zeta, but it doesn't have the transforming ability at all. All it was is just one big chunk high-powered test armor.
Dude,
I'm telling you, Derek knows everything there is to know about Gundam, dude.
The facts. You just blew my mind.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Now I feel happy I went all out on this kit. Dang.
Oh, it's a great kit. I don't have it. I think it's pretty expensive. It's like $160 Canadian for us.
You get
it's kind of worth it, man.
It is. I mean, I have the double Zeta Verka though.
Mm-hmm.
So do I really just want it for the big gun and the extra armor pieces?
Got a good point.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Derek over there, he wants the gun.
I want everything on that thing. I want everything on that thing, let alone the gun.
Yeah, but this is a beautiful rendition of it. Everybody, I feel like the Foz doesn't get the love it should get.
Yeah.
I feel it's very underrated. Despite everybody wanting to buy it when it came out, it's still very underrated. It's not one of those kits a lot of people take pictures of. It's not, for example, I remember Justin when he made his video. For the longest time, that was his least watched video. And I asked him, I'm like, but it's a beautiful kit. Like and he painted it really well. And he's like, well, I guess people just don't have an interest for the Foz. I'm like, but it's such a beautiful kit. I thought it would be, I thought it would kick ass when you put it out there. Is there a reason? Did this happen?
I don't know. I can actually check right now. Let me just double check. I'll just check right now.
Well, my feedback is like you can't really pose much on that guy. That's one of the biggest issues comparison to your regular double Zeta, because with the moment you have that big cannon on his shoulder, you have to have its hand holding it the entire time.
True.
You can't let that sort of be doing anything else. It's just too heavy, and I don't think there was an actual proper base stand that actually was able to work with that sucker. Actually, I think that was one of the problems.
Okay, so I'm looking for my analytics. It did okay. I mean, in my book, like any video that gets past 10K, that means it did very well. It got close to like 12,000 views. Yeah, that's good. That's good. If you do something else that isn't Gundam related on my channel, it will get only like 6,000.
Oh,
that's just how it works, man. That's how it works on my channel.
10,000 is always the prime spot you want to look at.
Yeah, man. If you don't hit it, then the YouTube analytics would tell you like your video got a good amount of watch time, but not many people were watching it. That is such a big disappointing downer every time that happens. I hate that analytics. I hate it.
The reason I mentioned that was I remember he at that time when he came out with the FOSS, his Barbatos and his Freedom or his Strike Freedom had 500,000 views on them each. So that's 1 million views together. But his for the longest time, his FOSS only had like 50,000.
Really?
So that's very different. Obviously now it's grown. Now that he's bigger, it's grown and it has the views that I feel it deserves and deserves more. Because honestly, put out that video, I was like, this is the best one you've made till now. But it didn't get the level it deserves. And I think it's the suit in itself, right? And piggybacking on what Derek said, you really can't post this kit.
No.
And that is one thing Justin said. Justin said the only post you can get out of this kit with its gun is the one on the box, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and even when you do get on the action base, it's very delicate to the point where it will fall and break. Yeah, I remember I had to buy like a separate action base for this guy just to pose him in the video, and it was not easy. It was actually very infuriating. Just trying to keep it like upward. Yeah, and trying to get like more angles. Still a fun kid, but man, just a big hunk of thick mess. This boy's too thick.
I like the thick boys on though, so I'm fine with that.
What about this one though specifically compared to the Double Zeta? It doesn't have the ridiculous wings on its arms.
No.
Yeah.
Because the Double has them. I'm looking at him right there, and it's like I never understood the point of those wings. From a scientific point of view, obviously we really go into depth. They shouldn't exist at all, but why?
Well, it's when you have them separate between the three fighters. You actually need those wings for the core piece. Actually, that's the only reason why they had to.
That's it. I mean, I feel like they're annoying. I feel annoying to just have these things. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
You know which one's on?
I know.
I think they keep it there just to make sure people are familiar with where its original origins is from. That way it doesn't look too alien from all the other mobile suits. Yes. I kind of get where they're going at, but it's kind of like the same habit I had when I build this kit. There's a lot of flexibility where they actually can transform into other things, but the pieces that are there are kind of alien to me. You don't know what to do with them. They're just kind of like there for the sake of just being there.
There's your fun facts there.
Did you have fun putting these? Because they came out great. They came out awesome.
Oh, for the FOSS?
Yeah.
This was like another kit that was requested, and I ignored it for a long time, and I was like, you know what? I need to get comfortable practicing with different purples, and and different types of like grays. So this will be like a good entry level to get comfortable trying something new. So yeah, super fun kit.
How was the gun when you put the LEDs through that? Because I noticed that you did like quite a few different areas on the large cannon itself there right now. Because down the barrel on the side there you got some purple. You got the like on sort of the scope on the top too. It's like so like was there quite a bit of space in there for you to do all that, or do you remember?
No, now that I think about it, no, there wasn't. Because where that yellow, let's see, if you go to slide 60, you see a big yellow like brick section here in the middle underneath the PG. That area is not hollow.
Oh,
it's like there's like multi-segmented pieces that stack on top of one another. So you
Oh.
gotta do some custom like cutting in there to make the wire go from one end all the way to the back. I think that was like my biggest challenge, trying to take all those wires, put it into one isolated spot, and then connect it to the booster in the back.
Oh.
That was like the biggest without compromising anything, because I made sure those two were like separate. They weren't interconnected to one another. Because if they were connected or like joined from the hip, then I would just have nothing but problems down the road. I would love to get this guy away. I just don't know how to put him in the package. I have no way to ship him.
I would so take it, but it might be pricey. It might not make it across the border.
Yeah, I would love to get this guy a new home. He's just taking up too much space in my display case, man. Jeez.
I can understand for large kits because Alina has the Nightingale, the 1/100 Nightingale. That thing that thing took up like quarter of my glass case right now in my display room. I was like, yeah, okay, what's mine is hers, yeah, mine, not really mine. It's just hers.
Hey, make her happy. You gotta make her happy.
Yep. Well, continuing on, good stuff.
Yes.
Barbatos, I gotta love this. See.
Oh man,
No,
I got grilled on this one super hard.
Oh really?
Oh no, because I kept on saying Lotus Rex.
Oh.
I kept mispronouncing his name wrong. So I'm like, okay, I get it. It was in pre-production. Sorry. Jesus, so sue me. Still love the kit though, man. Come on. Just enjoy the video.
Lotus Rex.
The
New name.
Rex, yeah. There's the pose there for you there.
Oh, that's the art.
Yep, that is the Arterius pose right there. That is exactly the pose.
Yeah.
Man.
There it is.
Super fun SD kit, man. Or sorry, cross silhouette kit. Very
still
fun.
SD. It's fun.
Yeah, it still is. Yeah, man. Nothing but love for this kit. I was trying to debate how I was going to install the lights in this one. The tricky part is there's not a lot of room in the eyes. So I knew that if I was going to put an LED in there, it would make it look like he's looking down all the time. So certain light exposures, when you take photos, it looks like his eyes are blown out. It looks really cool. But when you have a really good camera, like a nice good like Canon camera with like a 27, what lens is this? 24 by 70 millimeter lens, then you can see all the little hidden details in there. So every time he looks in different angles, he just looks like he's looking down.
Yeah, he
or
does.
he's looking like at you.
I was going
at
to
every
say
angle.
that. He looks like he's like the demon, which he is.
Yes.
Like he's like looking down on you. I said, oh man, that looks so cool. I was wondering like how you managed to get that LED just to line up that way.
Oh no, it was hard. It was super because I wanted to be centered, but then the funny thing, if I kept the LED centered, he would look cross-eyed, and I didn't want it. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep it stationary where he's looking down, or looking down at you, or looking upward. You know, there's a lot of ways to play around it, but when I did put it in both eyes, the eyes did look cross-eyed. I didn't like that.
Oh man.
It's a beautiful piece though, because it's a small SD cross. It's a cross silhouette, right? It's an SD. But you were able to make it. It's that part that you make the Barbatos look like a demon with the eyes.
Yeah,
it really does look like that. You know, the Barbatos ready to. I don't know. It just reminds me so much of IBO. Whenever you saw Barbatos go and fight against the what was that one with the? This was before it's got its tail. The one that got its tail from what's called the one that he fights. It's meant to destroy Gundam.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, what was it called? Dang it, Paul's gonna kick me for this one. One of my buddies go kick me in the face for this one.
That was such a good episode too, man. I was on my chair watching that. My God.
Oh, Hashmal. Thank you, Minghui. Hey, Hashmal. Thanks, audience. You're watching, so you're helping me here. Yeah, the Hashmal. Actually, fun topic news. Hashmal was actually designed not to destroy Gundams. Gundams were designed to destroy the Hashmals because the Hashmal were made to destroy all life on Mars at that time. They were created to hunt down humans, actually. The original IBO, like the whole entire series about these Gundam frames, they were actually designed to kill these armors, actually. That's what they were meant for.
Boy, I would love to see that series. That'd be great.
Like
a prequel? That would be great to see that.
I've been begging for people.
Dude, I know. It would be awesome. It's not going to happen.
feel with all the Gundam frames that it has to show still, could be so good. I wish Bandai would actually do something with that. And it's Sunrise. It's Sunrise and Bandai, right? Together.
Yes, it
'Cause
is.
it's not just-
It's not just the
Yeah.
one side. They have to agree, and they have to they have to agree on which city to blow up next, not just Edmonton.
Well, the thing is, so James, and the one that got destroyed in IBO season 1, where the fight was at the end, that's literally 2 hours from us, right? It's 2 hours
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, it's 4 hours. But
Wow.
yes, 4 hours from
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
So, but oh man. But going
Yeah,
back,
and-
I love it. Actually,
Anyway,
yeah. How the heck did you manage to fit it's a couple of LEDs on the thruster still on the back of this
Yeah.
SD kit too?
Yeah,
there
yeah,
actually
those
enough
are-
room there, or?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh.
I managed to sneak in. I believe there were Pico LED lights,
Oh, okay.
just small enough to fit there. I mean, they're not supposed to be there, but there's just plenty of enough room to actually make that effect work. Because I figured I did it on the Barbatos Master Grade. When I can implement that onto the ST, why not? It looks really cool, and at the same time, I can pull off some good dynamic poses with it. So it worked out. So this
Thumbs
little
up,
guy,
yes.
just going to say it, he's going to be set up for my giveaway before once I hit 30K on my channel. So I'll be giving this guy away without a doubt. So give him a new home.
Oh yes.
Good. Beautiful boy.
Oh
Boy.
yes.
But speaking of little guys, let's go on to a huge guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, the perfect grade. The Seed, right? The Strike Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
This is the newer one, right? This is the newest one.
This is the newest one.
Yeah. So what are your opinions? What are your opinions on the suit itself? Because I, for one, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the Strike Gundam,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just feel like when you put all the pieces into it, it just looks like it was just thrown together. It doesn't really have anything that I like. It doesn't have the uniformity for me.
Hmm.
What do you think of this kit before anything else? Like, what do you like about it? Or
I didn't really have much interest in the kit. Once again, this goes back to video games until I played like another Gundam version game for the PlayStation 2, and this was like the poster boy for this game as well. And the design itself was like very plain. There wasn't anything like too crazy that was being implemented onto it. And I had the same kind of impressions when I built the first rendition of the Perfect Grade a couple years back. I ended up giving that away, and then I built it again. And then I ended up selling that one because I was like another introduction, putting custom LEDs. But this one, they kind of went with the approach of like a transformer kind of vibe. There's like multiple shifting panels. There's tons of like flexibility, doing different kinds of tones of grays and whites. And the added bonus that they just did a complete overhaul on the face. Looks really good. You know, they didn't have to go, do custom scribing on this guy, but what they've learned in the last 6 to like 7 years from other independent companies making their own different styles of Gunpla, they kind of implemented onto this guy, and you can totally see it, and it works. So I'm actually very happy with this aesthetic design. I know it looks simple, I know it looks plain, but I'm kind of old school that way. I don't want anything like too crazy over the top, but at the same time, I like something that has like really good surface detail. And if you can compare this one to the original Perfect Grade, the difference is night and day. The way how they implemented unique things onto it. So when I remember building the first Perfect Grade, I think I just put an LED in the camera module, the eyes, and then one in the cockpit, and there was just enough light to light up the chest area where you see the green.
Yeah.
And I want to do something a little bit different because I was heavily influenced by Perfect Grade Exia.
Oh.
I always felt that nice little green section around the GN drive just looked really nice. So I had two options. I either could have went with like a purple LED or green. And it needed to be a right kind of green. It didn't need to be anything like super bright. Didn't need to be super dim. Just about right to where it can illuminate at certain key points in the plastic area. So when I apply those onto this kit, they're not dead center in the plastic. They're on the edge. Okay. So I did that deliberately because one, there's a lot of cavity space in those areas. While two, it'll help prevent the LEDs being damaged.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
Like a lot of thought went into this. I wasn't really focusing on lighting up the cockpit like I did with the first one. I was just more focused on taking something what I learned from the second one that I built and trying something drastically different. So I always try to one up every time I do like another revision of a Perfect Grade or a Master Grade kit, And I think like the biggest challenge I had with this kit was what was it called? No, it's not even called that. The Grand Slam weapon. That's his other one with the big blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this one name is. I forget the name of it. But this part was actually probably the hardest part of the kit because if you try connecting one LED to another part of the plastic, it's not going to dim it up all completely. It's just going to create like these awkward hot spots. So the biggest challenge there was like, why don't I just put like a manual LED strip from one point A to another? Okay, so how am I going to do that? Do I use chip LEDs? Yeah, but at the same time, they need to be perfectly aligned to where it illuminates the plastic correctly. Why not go for something that has a big, wider spectrum? So I ended up going with, like, I think, what was it, 15? 20 mega LEDs on just that one weapon to illuminate it. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Well, but it shows out really nicely for itself from the glow from actually looking at that. So looking at the image, actually, that actually shows like it actually gets the right effect. It's not showing that same little awkward burn at the very end as you were saying before. Because I was wondering about that. It's like, how do you manage to illuminate the entire blade through, not just at the ends? So.
Yeah, I did do some tests before I went with the third stage of this project. I ended up like actually using a sandpaper to just soften it enough to the point where you don't see through the plastic. So I thought that would probably help like illuminate it. It didn't really. It just ended up hiding like the back part of one clear piece over another, and it didn't work. So there was a lot of trial and errors with it. So I ended up sticking with the LED manual strip from point A to point B. I did want to use like an actual plastic clear piece, much like how I'm doing that with my other project, which hopefully I can get that done in a couple of months or so. But I just ended up opting just working with the mega size LEDs. I thought it created the same kind of effect, but man, those lights require so much power. And that was like probably the biggest challenge with this. I think I ended up using like close to 60 LEDs.
So
60 LEDs?
I think, yeah. Maybe, yeah, I think it was close to 60 because everything's lit up on slide number 69, dude. It's all lit up there. So
I was going to say, like, you made it still able to remove and change each of the armors on there still. And I said, holy shoot, I wonder how many there was on there. Because I'm looking at back on slide 68, it's like, I see you have the sword form, I see you with the launcher form, and then it's like, okay, holy shoot. And
yeah, man,
you're still
a
able
lot of
to
improvising there.
You were able to separate. So did each of those armor attachments, do you actually have to create its own like power source separately then?
Like I always do with these kits, I make sure that they're modular.
Yeah.
So that way when they are modular, I can connect them all into one power supply. So I think around this time I was using a USB plug-in that supports up to 3 volts. Surprisingly, that works really well. But I got to talk to Evans Designs in a couple of days because I noticed that the circuit board that connects to it gets a little too hot, and that's like a big concern right now. So I'll talk to him about that. Probably I'll do it tomorrow. So I end up opting to switching back to a regular AA power supply, and it worked very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. This looks pretty nice. Yeah.
Oh man, it looks, well, as they say, perfect.
Ah, damn.
All right.
Oh man.
From big to small again, we're going back to another cross silhouette form. This is the King of Braves, right? The Gao.
Yes.
I can't even say that name.
Gao Gaiga.
Go Gaiga.
Yeah. Another anime that I had to do some serious research because I do remember seeing a lot at my local comic shop called the Comic Factory. And back in the day, you know, when you wanted to watch anime, it was all about how the front cover looked. If it didn't have a cool front cover, you weren't going to touch it. And unfortunately, it was one of those gems that I ended up having to find out 20 years later that, you know, the show's pretty good. It's for little kids, but it ain't half bad. You know, the show is clearly geared to just sell toys, and I get it. But the overall mech aesthetic itself is super cool.
I enjoy it because I looked at the weathering on the back of this guy. I was like, yeah, I can see some of the weathering, or purposely where you try to get the vernier sort of burnt out a little bit there. It looks scratched up. So
Yeah, I kept it simple. This is like one of those kits where I'm like, okay, take a break from a master grade, try something simple and fun. Can do.
yeah,
And that's what I did. I'll say it again. SD kits are fun. I
Yeah.
love them.
I enjoy the cross
But
silhouettes.
you're talking about taking a break from a small thing.
Oh Jesus! this
It's one of my
guy.
favorite
Oh,
kits out there. The Master Grade Sasabi Vercon.
man.
This is one of the most customizable, if not customized, kits on the planet. Everyone at least done something to it. I mean, we were talking about scribing earlier, and we're talking about how you talk to people to try to learn it. My biggest source for people watching and for everybody watching, if you want to learn how to scribe, go watch Robbie Plaw's tutorial on YouTube. Go watch his series on how he's modifying his Sasabi Verka. That guy is a monster. He is a legend. And so whenever I see a Sasabi, I kind of have like this kind of like, what did they do to it to make it different? And I remember you were talking about this specifically on your video. You talked about how you got this red, kind of orange, kind of like tomato looking one, because you were off the picture in the manual, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this kit? That's obviously, it's from 2013, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think of this kit?
Oh, I loved it. It broke the mold for me to not sticking with just one basic red. I had to learn to use like 4 different types of reds for this particular one. Some brighter, some more leaning towards the orange, more burgundy. Others just more brown. It was fun. It was super fun. The biggest challenge was putting in a light inside the jewel for the main camera module in the front part of the head. The eye wasn't the biggest problem. That wasn't it. The piping's already there. The work's already there. You just put a regular chip LED and you're done. The bigger challenge was just putting one for the camera in front and then in the thrusters. And like I said in the video, I wasn't going to waste my time putting every single LED light in every thruster. It would just look really weird. But I know there's people that like that. I get it. But for me, I'm like, I say it again. I'll keep on saying it. I'm on a budget. I can only work what I have. And I need to save my other LEDs for my other projects. So I'm just going to focus on areas that look really cool. So I put more heavy emphasis on the thrusters or the backpack unit as much as I can. And it worked. You know, but at the same time, this kit, oh man, I hate the fact that I had to buy another action base. That's the only thing that kicked me in the butt. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I did have one, but I ended up giving it to a customer. But thankfully enough, the kit does come with the attachment to where you can connect it to the back of the mobile suit as well as in back of the backpack unit. But you still need to buy an action base that can support up to a 1/100 scale mobile suit.
Technically, he's like as big as it gets for a 1/100.
Yeah, I love this dude. I would love to give this guy a new home too. You know, takes up a lot of. Yeah, I would love to give him a new home. He's just a thick boy, taking up too much room in my office.
For the Sasabi Verka, it's such a unique build, I want to say, because of all the open hatch that they did with it. It really is in its tier of its own. And ever since I began it, the journey on this hobby, people have always told me the Sasabi Verka is the last boss. It's the last boss of Gunpla for Master Grade. So once you Sasabi Verka, that's it. You can build any other Master Grade, no problem. My question to you in this case is: do you feel that's the truth when it comes to the?
Well, for me, it was more on the decals. Because I do remember I was really struggling to apply decals, and when I bought this kit from Amazon, I remember telling myself like, I don't really like decals. I'm not going to bother with it. But I've already spent like close to $120. I might as well put that money to good use, and then I was hooked. I kind of got the appeal why people started putting water slide decals onto these kits, because I always wondered, there's something better than a sticker decal. I get it, they're kind of safe. You know, if you make a mistake, you can easily pull them off, but they don't kind of flush themselves onto the plastic where it kind of like works with it. So would I put this in the category of like a final boss? If we're talking about fighting games, I would definitely say he's like the Geese Howard in Fatal Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could
just
tell.
menacing. At the same time, just intimidating looking. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's go with it. Yeah. 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 I love this kid, man.
is it the Infinite Dimensions one? The one is it the conversion? There's a resin conversion kit for the Sasabi for the Master.
Oh, I think it's a Gundam built that a couple months back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my boy did it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video. He killed it. Super proud of him for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know he has a lot of respect for you because we've talked to him personally, and he's like, oh yeah, Otaku is one of the YouTubers I watch because of the LED lights. His thing is top notch, right? But man, your Sasabi Verka is a beautiful kit. I'm so glad you tackled it. You put LEDs. I remember showing this in our meeting to some of our friends when we were talking about how you were going to be on the show.
Yes.
They're like, oh, beautiful kit. Yep, you did it. You did some justice to it. I really like the red. It is definitely a different red, like you said it is. It's not like typical Sasabi red that a lot of people put into it, right?
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to separate myself with that, because a lot of people usually like to do like the candy reds and the dark reds and dark browns, and then the dark browns with the dark reds and then the bright reds. To be honest, like the color choices for the red orange was a mistake, but I just kind of rolled with it, and it's worked beautifully. So I made sure if I was going to use it in certain spots, it would need to be like very impactful, like on the knees. That's actually just one whole color. Why not separate the two? So that's the reason why I went with that choice. Yeah, overall, pick that kit up. It's worth it. Worth every penny of it, man.
Speaking of kits that are worth it, we have the Evangelion Zero right here.
Ooh, heavily requested.
I love this kit, and I have the original high grade from 1998. And I want to know what you think of it, because I have this one too, just waiting for me right there, right here left. What are your thoughts on it?
Building the perfect grade, coming back to building another Evangelion was really refreshing. And I believe I mentioned in the video that there's little pearls, there's little hints that this guy can. I know I said this a lot, but it can be a true, authentic perfect grade. It is just beautifully well designed. Everything works. Nothing's overpacking one other piece. Things are nicely seamed, put together. And this is my first time building Eva Unit 0. Everyone that I knew back in the day in high school built Eva Unit 1. Or they did build Eva Unit 0, but it was like in the blue color. Yeah.
Yep.
There he is.
There he is.
But this was really fun because I actually had a conversation with my old high school friend. He probably will never watch this video, but his name is Roger Mindley. And we were like big Evangelion fans, man. We were big on it. We would literally save up our money and go to our local comic book shop, and we would just buy one episode after another on VHS tapes and just sit there and binge watch it the whole time. We didn't care about the story. We really got and just watched the animations and the character developments and whatnot, and then we watched the feature-length film, which blew our minds even more, and then we kind of just fell out of it. We lost interest into it, and then Evangelion had a surge again with the new feature-length films, and those films, love them or hate them, I like them. There's nothing wrong with that. I know there's purists out there that don't like it because they feel that it's impeding upon the original source material. That's fine. There's something for everyone, but the overall design aesthetics for Eva Unit 0, it's beautiful. Super fun. And once again, there's like another one of those kits that introduced me into different types of grays and a different type of painting, because I usually do like a heavy emphasis on pre-shadowing, and this time I kind of took a break from like painting each individual like crevice. I just did like with a hard black, and then apply a white over like key parts of the area to give that same look of a pre-shadow look, but it's a little bit more softer. And with this one, I didn't want to opt to use any kind of like paint chipping effect. I didn't want to do any weathering, because the one thing I've always known and love about Evangelion is they have like this nice clean aesthetic to them.
They do, yeah.
And I just love that.
So I remember listening on your video. You said that this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first real grade.
Yes, it is.
What?
So,
wow.
what I think is you need to build more real grades.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
Oh man.
But I know there are people out there who just like to do 1/100s, right?
Yes.
master grades.
Mhm.
But I mean, I have more master grades than I do real grades, but I do have, I think, some of the best real grades to have ever come out. The RG Sasabi is one of the best kits out there, and to me, it's still the best real grade to have ever come out. Surpasses even the Evangelion, one that I have right here.
Mhm.
Uh, Gundam, which came out last year, real grade, is amazing. And you even have the small crossbone, the
Mhm.
Crossbone X last year is also an amazing real grade kit. And I feel
Okay.
like with your ability to put LEDs, you can make these things look amazing. So I do feel you should definitely build some more real grades. That's just coming from a fan. I'm just saying,
No, no,
you know.
no. And and you'll get my commitment to it. It's going to happen without a doubt, man. It is going to happen. I just needed that one kit to just get me hooked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I know the design aesthetics is drastically different from a Gundam model kit, but this is something just it felt right to come back to just returning to build another Evangelion kit after building the perfect grade. And dang man, Bandai killed it with this.
Mhm.
They did.
Loved it.
Oh,
They
geez.
killed the moment.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like I need to have, and I have the other one ordered already.
Same here.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Already. Unit 2. Yikes.
Yeah, I gotta wait till like October when it gets officially released. But
The
it's
official
paid for.
announcement. Oh, jeez.
Get it over with. You got my money, man.
Take my
Just
money.
give it to me.
okay, and this is one of my favorite, one of my wife's favorites pieces of yours. She loved it, absolutely loved it. She was floored when she saw it.
Oh,
And it's
cool.
the SD unicorn because she has so many SDs. They're all
Hmm.
here. I know Derek has seen them.
Hmm.
She loves the little unicorns. Um, what do you think of this? Because this is beautiful, man. Everything is lighted up. It looks great. I mean,
Nothing but love for this kid, dude. Nothing but love. And I was super happy with this because I got the color accuracy right. I blew it with the mega size. Okay, it was supposed to be like a bright red and it looking like a soft orange,
Hmm.
and it bugged me. And I'm like, what could I have done to fix that? Well, I didn't have the right LED lights at the time. I was working with warm white LEDs. This one I was using pink, and to actually make that pink pop out a little bit more, I end up painting the inside of the clear pieces with a nice soft clear red,
Oh.
and that just made it pop out even more.
yeah.
So what I learned from the mega size, I implemented onto this little dude. So you can see where my philosophy goes with these kits. Not everything's planned, but when I make mistakes on one, I learn to implement it onto the next build, so that way I have less and fewer mistakes.
Hmm.
So with this little guy, I think I'm coming up to the point where I'm about to build my very last unicorn kit. Was just like, okay, I build the bust. I have built a perfect grade, which I have not shown in videos because that was my introduction to building my very first perfect grade. I haven't done an SD, and I haven't done a video of a perfect grade yet. So I think we're getting close to the point where I'm about to tackle my very last unicorn Gundam kit. But I wanted to build an SD.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It's just there's something adorable about this little dude. I just wanted to build him. I knew it was gonna be hard. I knew he was gonna be super hard because of the backpack, but um, but I was firing on cylinders. I had plenty of coffee in my system. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I just went for it. And I just
Nice.
love this little guy.
That's awesome, dude.
It
Yeah,
came
this,
out perfectly. Like we're looking at the backpack there. It's like, yeah, you
Mhm.
managed. You actually got that completely cleared up with the 4 boosters on. And shoot, you're right. The color accuracy is definitely there. And I watched the tutorial video when you showed this one, and I say that it's ingenious actually how you managed to get the
Mm.
lighting balance down there from your mega size one. When I was looking at the video, I say, huh, okay. And then you
Yeah.
changed it finally, and finally looked more really like it. And it had that glowing. My question too is like looking at the eyes there. I say I still saw the green, but I think the effect on slide 83 it actually pulled up perfectly. That's the same actual pose that you see off of the manga almost.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
looks
Yeah, that's where I
awesome.
got my reference from it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Good eye. Good eye on that, man. I'm proud of you.
I see a lot of things maybe.
They're on to me.
But no, that's great. Oh, what did? Here's the one thing I always note about SD kits because I built so many cross silhouettes. Don't you get cheesed off by they put so much effort on the main body, cross silhouette film, everything, but then when you get finally to the beam saber, it's a toothpick.
Yeah, it's like a small little Pocky stick.
Exactly.
I'm like, can you just make a clear piece? I mean, I know I can probably get some old like master grades and just put a clear piece on there myself, but I don't want to look at a Pocky stick, man.
Oh, right?
Come on. Yeah, I do feel it. Yeah, I do. We kind of get the stiff lip for that.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I know. It's like,
Little SD has a clear piece.
oh yeah, that's the older SD kit out of all bloody things. Band-Aid, take notes, please.
Yes, please.
Now.
All right. Now, yeah, we were talking about earlier when you were having your Zeta there. So you had this already, so you didn't want to get a master grade now of this guy.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you can get a Titan one.
Sure, but everyone's gonna be hounding me. I'm like, you build the black one next.
Oh,
build it. No. No. Become a Patreon, then we'll talk.
No.
Become a Patreon. Nah, that this kit was. The fun story about this kit, I did have it, I think 2 years ago, and when I bought it on an impulse. I wasn't really too comfortable putting LEDs in kits yet. I was kind of working with what was there. And then I figured to myself, you know what? I've already hit like 1,000, followers on Instagram. Might as well give it away.
Yeah.
Give back to the community, what they've done for me. I want to do something nice. And then when I did give it away, I ended up finding out from another person that person that I did give it to ended up selling the kit.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that kind of bummed me out for a while. So now I'm at that point where I'm not giving away any more free kits. If I'm going to give something away, it's already going to be pre-assembled and already ready to go.
Yeah.
But I was super happy that I was finally able to build this kit finally, because my biggest complaint with this one was I didn't like the elongated face, because I was looking after the RX-78-2 perfect grade. Slightly wider. I kind of like that aesthetic. This one had like a weird elongated face, but as I was building this kit, as I was going, I'm like, oh man, this design's really starting to grow on me. I think I kind of like this more than the RX. I don't know why. It's kind of nice. And then I'm putting everything else together and piecing like the little attachment over the head. It looks like that weird headset from that one dude from Empire Strikes Back on Cloud City.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm liking this kit. It just has a great deal of personality. Wow. I'm kicking myself every time I remember when I gave that kit away. I wish I never gave it away. I wish I didn't, but man, once again, love these old school perfect grades, man.
Yeah.
So much personality.
I was going to
so much like ways of doing good poses with them too.
Well, they were quoting from one of our close friends, Mo. He builds a lot of the older kits. I say, wasn't it painful to put all the extra screws and nuts together in the metal parts?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think one of the problems is like over time they just wear, right? So
yes, they do.
Yeah. So it's rather you try retighten them in some way or not.
Yeah, and then if you do tie them down too fast, you end up stripping the plastic. So it's weird. It's such a weird balancing act. Don't make them too tight. Don't make them too loose. Loose, tight, loose. All right, you're shelved. I don't want to deal with it. Be there. No, this guy got a nice home. I was really happy when I sold this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. He's from Instagram. He's now building his very first perfect grade unicorn.
Ooh.
And he wanted to send it to me like, hey, I see what you did with this guy. Why don't you give him your same otaku flair? Like, dude, we are in a pandemic. You spend that money on the kid, you build it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send that to me. Come on.
I just kind of want to say something, because I remember when Derek and I were talking about this kit, and we were looking at your pictures when we were doing the slides. We looked at your the cockpit on the first slide, 87.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most full lighting on the cockpit that I've ever seen. It's so subtle, and it looks so real, as if you were actually. It's not supposed to be this super bright thing, but it just looks so real and looks so nice. Did you use does it use lower consumption power to get it that dim? Because it looks dim compared to the rest.
No, the thing was, it was a chip LED light that was placed in a right spot in the cockpit area where it looks like it's saturated. It's a soft blue light, But I only needed just one to make it bright because the original lights that come with the kit are like green. And I'm like, that's, no, that doesn't look right. You know, when you think of a cockpit, there's like a nice soft hue blue with all the control panels around you and the screens and left and right. You know, you want to create that. And plus, the cockpit is already encased in like this chrome like surface. So just one LED is going to be just enough to diffuse it, but at the same time scatter in a way where it looks right. So the choices we tried, it was between using a white LED or a light blue. And I opted with a light blue because I felt it just works naturally for the eyes. And, you know, it kind of draws your attention to it without being like too distracting.
Yeah, it worked. It worked to perfection, and I'm so glad to see you have done this because I was trying to say earlier, everybody that I've talked to about perfect grades always mentions the Mark II perfect grade old school one as one of the best perfect grades that have ever been done. And a lot of people don't talk about it. You do see a lot of talented people actually tackle it. One of our winners on our contest that we used to do on the show actually did a Mark II, all up and weather, and it just looks beautiful because the inner frame on this kit is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely gorgeous. And anyway, that's a beautiful kit. But we're gonna go on next to something completely different from Gunpla, but kind of similar. And we have the Optimus Prime.
Yes. Optimus Prime, yeah. Once again, trying something new, trying something that is definitely rooted in my childhood. Didn't watch, here's the thing, grew up with Transformers a lot as a kid.
Yes.
Never watched the cartoons.
Ooh.
However, when I was in middle school, there was a beautiful gem of a show called Beast Wars.
Yes.
And that's where I got hooked. Season 1, Season 2. Well, I think they made a Season 3. That show was incredible. I think it was I forget the name of the Frame. Begins with Frame. I forget the name of the studio that were. They also worked on the reboot cartoon series as well. And god dang, that show was incredible. And I think that was like my big introduction to get into not building, but actually watching Transformers as an overall like new genre. And then when I found that Flame Toys was making their versions of the kit, I figured, you know, I might as well tackle it. I didn't see any like Generation 1 Optimus Prime around that time, so I opted to build this one. And I saw a handful of builders that added their little flair to it. But once again, like the most popular thing to do with these kits is make them that nice, bright candy red and that bright reflecting blues. So I kind of went with like a mute tone with the blues, but I still want to keep that nice metallic blue aesthetic. So once again, I was trying out Vallejo's metallic blue, and that was probably like the best metallic blue I've ever used on a model kit. It's not overpowering, it's not too bright, but it still gives you that nice metal aesthetic feel to it. And I was really lucky enough to find it because that little vial was like super hard. This is like literally in the early parts of the Coronaverse. You know, it was very difficult just to find like a small vial of metallic blue. It was like $30 around the time when I saw it. But I got lucky getting it for like $10. Yeah, man, California.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Oh man. Well, so going for the details on this one, you did the similar idea. You used your LEDs onto the eyes and into the main for the chest there. I love the idea that actually you still actually for the chest you can still make out the silhouette, sort of like where the Allspark should be almost. So that actually fits really nicely actually right there on slide 93. So I was like looking at
thank you.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the subtle, not subtle, actually, the weathering on the feet that you did.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, you know, he's been running around doing whatever Optimus Prime does, right?
Yeah.
Really good.
I wanted to keep the weathering simple because I actually do own like 4 3A figurines. I got Optimus Prime right over here. I got Optimus Prime from the Michael Bay film. So I got tons of reference here. And then I got a handful of the new Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee reboot.
Oh, okay.
Which was like my all-time favorite one so far. Yeah, tons of references there. But I didn't want to go like, you know, chicken scratches everywhere and make it like heavily weathered and scribing, you know, parts on the armor. Just enough where it looks good. Yeah, keep it simple.
Exactly.
Keep it simple.
I loved it. Speaking of not simple.
Oh yes. Oh man.
The last Mamma Gemma of this month, Metal Gear Solanthropus. Yeah, I kind of tore this kid a new one in my video, and I'm still sticking to it. But this kit was another passion project because I wanted to build the Philanthropist kit when Metal Gear 5 came out 5 years ago. But my painting skills weren't there. I kind of have an idea how to put water slide decals, but I wasn't good at it. And at the same time, my color theory understanding was very off. So I didn't know anything about camouflage texture. I didn't know about pre-shading. And at that time, custom LEDs was like out of the question. You know, it just wasn't a thing back then. So I figured now I'm like, I can finally tackle this kit and make it the way how I envision it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my original plan was just to light up the head, light up the shoulders, and put one LED inside of the railgun. And then the good folks from Evans Designs were like, hey, we got a new LED cycle effect that we want to send you. Would you mind trying it out? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll try it out. And it worked really well to create that nice effect inside the railgun. And then I remember watching the game footage again. I'm like, oh, crap. His inner rib area kind of slightly glows when he's using his weapon. Mm-hmm. When he's stabbed into the ground. Like, oh, can I cram something there just at the last minute? And fortunately enough, there is just enough cavity space in the torso to really pull that off. So I'm like, got it. Got the way I wanted. And I was happy with it. The only downside is I couldn't transform it into Rex mode because the abdomen area is such a big problem with this kit.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was going to ask you because they're watching your video on there. I said, yeah, it's a shame. You were trying so hard to try keep it transformable and take pictures of both. But yeah, this time.
Nah, it was just a headache and everything was just like falling apart. And I didn't want to take a risk of like gluing areas that I eventually will probably have to remove. But I was already satisfied the way how it looked. I think a lot of people really see Philanthropist as the one Metal Gear that stands upright.
Yes.
It would have been nice if I actually included the Rex form, but I already built the Rex a couple of years ago. So in a way, it kind of works out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Very nice. Well, guys, if you guys have gone over to his channel and seen his video, which was literally uploaded a few hours ago on this kit, go watch it. It's, I haven't finished it. Like I said, I was busy, but I will finish it later today. But now, Otakubuilder, James, we have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just a few questions that we got from them, from our viewers. So one question that we jumped over last time because it is a little bit more complicated is sent by Night Raids. He asked, what are some of the consideration factors when installing LEDs? For example, articulation versus how many LEDs you plan to install for each kit to look pretty. So what are some of the consideration factors that you take into account?
Well, one thing for sure, posability is like the highest part when it comes to putting LEDs. On top of that, what really becomes like a big challenge is making sure everything works. And at the same time, making sure everything has enough space where everything can work with one another. Because if you have too many pieces that are like overcrowding, you're going to get some damaged lights. And if you don't get any damaged lights, you're going to get damaged wires. So like I always recommend people, like, usually try planning ahead before you try to take bold steps in doing something like this. Like for me, I just naturally can do it in my head. It's kind of like a blessing, but also kind of a curse. But for those who want to do this and then want to take it to that next step and do something really dynamic, like how you would see my projects, then you have to thoroughly like plan ahead on what will work, what you need to cut out, what are the proper tools you need, what are the proper steps to really go about it without actually losing or damaging any of the wiring or lighting. There's so much planning involved with it. Hopefully that makes sense. There's just so much to it.
Yeah, just plan.
Yeah.
So the next question is from I am MH. Says, how do clear parts behave when refracting the LED lights based on experience, and how to decide what to saw off or separate and so on? Usually the case of the head, right? The eye and the camera and the clear parts. So.
Ooh. Okay. So let's say we're having clear eyes, but you want to refract them to be green. Let's see what you would have to see. There's a problem right there. One, it's a clear piece, so you're going to have to find some way how to diffuse it. Because if you put like one LED light, let's say like a blue or a green, it's just going to scatter. If you look at how in the one photos of the red Frame Astray, you can't quite see it up close, But from afar, what I didn't do with this particular kit is I didn't diffuse it enough with the eyes. They're a little too loud, just a little. If I would have implemented, let's say slide number 42.
42?
There it goes.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay.
So, if I would have diffused them a little bit more, maybe put like a flat coat behind that clear piece, probably would have worked a lot more better. But they were just a tad too blown out. So, to help alleviate that situation, you would have to either use like a clear sheet of transparent paper or use a flat coat to diffuse it just enough so that we don't see the LED, flashing right through it. And then when it comes to color choices, that pretty much comes down to personal preference. So if we're talking about a blue piece, why not use blue clear eyes? You can use like an actual green LED light, or you can use a blue, but it all comes down to what really works for you. Let's say you have Gundam eyes that are, let's say they're a clear red. What's the natural thing that people will kind of lean towards when they put an LED in there? They'll probably put in another red or a bright white. Why not an orange? It'll still create the same kind of effect, but at the same time, it'll make everything even out. It'll look really good. Let's see if the eyes are orange. What's a good complementing color behind that? White would probably work, but it'll be too overblown out. Why not an orange against an orange? That can work too. But then you have to deal with the issue of dealing with the capacitor. Some LEDs are wired differently from others. Okay, so if orange doesn't work, what's another alternative for orange, on clear pieces? Then it'll be a warm yellow light. You'll get the same kind of effect, but at the same time, everything will be balanced correctly. So there's a lot of balances. There's like a weird balance act between it. It's so much, like, as you can see, like I'm literally thinking it as I'm like trying to process it. There's so many variables behind one another. Yeah. And you have to do it correctly. Like, good example, that red light right there. It's super blown out. How would I diffuse it so that way it doesn't look too like direct? I would lean up against the wall. Instead of the LED lights being shot directly at me, I'm slightly diffusing it against the wall to create the same kind of effect. Yeah. It's not distracting, but it does catch your eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Derek?
No, I was learning the tips because I need to put LEDs into my perfect gray astray. I'm changing the eyes orange, so I'm listening into this. But no, that's great tips, eh? Hopefully that helps you out. I am MH, right? So, and what's it? The next question I think is from Kev Models. I think we hear a few times during the videos is like, what's the power sources for your LEDs? I think your fan favorite is still, you say, batteries, right? So.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards using a USB power supply now, but I usually rotate between AAA to AA batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For Maximus, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you can read that one. Yeah.
So Maximus 2958. This one's a really quick one. Question for Otakubuilder: what airbrush would you recommend for a rank beginner?
Master airbrush are great, but let's be real here. If you want an airbrush that will last long, that has less issues, just get yourself an Iwata airbrush. Just spend the $180 on a really good high-end airbrush, because the more and more you work with the Master Airbrush series, they will break down. They will get clogged. And no matter how thorough I am when I clear those airbrushes out, no matter how meticulous I am to keep that needle properly aligned so that way it doesn't bend awkward, the thing will fail. So I've already burned through like 3 or 4 of those right now. And I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, the more I'm keeping shelling out more money, I'm pretty much spending close to the point of buying an Iwata airbrush. So yeah, go with that brand. But if you want something just to start, get a Master Airbrush series, get a feel for it. Then when you get comfortable with it, then upgrade yourself to an Iwata.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so then we got, let's see here, Gunpla Armory. What is your workflow for your builds? From runners to finished project.
Oh man. Ooh. I don't know how to answer that. I would if I would put a number on the hours a day I work on a kit, it's like 10 hours a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'll wake up like at 5, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, have my green tea matcha tea, and then I'll just check everything I need to do, plan ahead, and then get to work. And if I'm low on paint supplies, I'll plan ahead and go to my local hobby store and see what I can get there.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Wow.
6 days a week, 10 hours a day. But I'm extremely passionate when I'm working on these kits, man. I love it.
Well, dude,
So-
it's awesome. It's good, a lot of time and patience to it, but man, that's awesome. Kudos.
Right. The next one we have from Mecha Uvio. It says, any plans on stepping out of your comfort zone to do more complex custom builds like kit bashing, scratch building, or dioramas?
Yeah, eventually I'll be getting to doing some kit bashing. I've been asked a lot to do some dioramas with certain kits, but I'm more like on a tight time frame constraints on what I'm
Yeah.
doing for content. So like the only time I really would do something like that is on my own free time.
Mm.
So I will be doing kit conversions. Eventually I will be doing some form of kit bashing because I get a lot of requests towards that. I don't think I'll jump into the realm of doing scribing anymore. I tried it. I loved it, but it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
Dioramas, I love doing them. I did them a lot back in high school, so that's something I gotta really plan ahead on what would really work, what would catch people's attention to do a proper diorama. You know, I have to plan these things ahead because I do live in a nice house, but I am limited to the workspace I have in this house, so I can't just do one thing after another after another. I gotta think about other people that I'm living with, and hopefully it doesn't get in their way. So
Yeah.
All right. The next question lacks, I think, most questions that you have there on that question, that big question or that paragraph. James has answered in the first episode, actually, in the beginning of the video, which is, how did you start? What tools did you start painting? Everything else. He answered that before. But for QS0, if you wouldn't mind, Derek.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's a lengthy one. Is casting your own translucent parts something you've looked into further enhance your LED capabilities? For example, there is a model you told yourself this part would look amazing if it was translucent instead of solid. So let me make a mold of the part and recast it in translucent piece for myself. So don't know if you ever explored or thought about it at some point.
So I'm sure he's talking about just doing like, my own 3D printing of clear parts, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much you could do 3D print, I'm guessing, in some case, from what I heard. Some people just do, a recast of a part,
Mhm.
right?
The mold.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually, a friend, I think it's Steven. I forget his name, but I'm sorry, man. He's in Instagram and he's a friend of ours on GTS. He used to recast and make his own translucent parts out of like a different kind. It was translucent. It was orange. I remember he showed it to me.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is the same person, but I guess that's what he's going for. Since you use lights, if you ever want to, add translucent parts to your kits.
I mean, I would love to do that, but I kind of want to think in the mindset of the average consumer, right? If I have something that I want to work with, I gotta work with it. I mean, I don't have like an open workspace garage where I can do my own custom casting or my own 3D printing, or know someone that actually can do it for me. I've had people that hit me up asking if they wanted to give me like a 3D printed like articulated hand for a mega sized Gundam. I get that, but I always put myself in the mindset of an average consumer on what I have and what I can work with. And if I do have the spare money to get something that I desperately need to make that effect work, I will do that. So yes and no. But like I said, I always keep the mindset of what people would do if they had limited budget or what limited resources.
That's very humble. I want to say very humble. There's another word for it of you, because you keep in mind your viewers and people who want to kind of imitate your work or go by your work, and you're like, you know what, I want, in some way I feel you're, like you said, you want for the average consumer to be able, like, oh, I can do that without having to, go the extra super million step forward. That's really awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And the last question for you, which is a really quick one too, says, how much sanding do you end up doing?
Oh, a lot. I mean, let me be more specific. I know I don't show it in the videos. I know a lot of people do ask me when I do my videos, like, how come we don't see you do the sanding of the poly caps and the pieces? Like, I see it on other people's videos. They don't wow me. And if they don't wow me, I'm not going to implement them on my videos. I'd rather do it off camera because, that's where the magic shots are. But I know there are some people out there that are just like, hey, I would love to know what kind of sanding paper that you use. Is it a 15,000? Is it 35,000? Is it something softer, lighter? You know, I get it, but I do a majority of all my sandings off camera because that's like extremely time consuming. Like, do an example of the perfect grade red Frame Astray. That will take like 3 hours to sand all those pieces down.
So you sand every piece down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes
All right.
3 months to do the sanding.
Oh god. Oh man.
Well, yeah, that is the end of the questions, and that is also the end of the slides with with James here in part 2 of his segment. This one didn't have a time limit, and it's already been almost, I think, 3 hours, if not more.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry.
No,
I
no.
talk too much.
Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I'm
Don't say
sorry.
that, and we're saying that because it's awesome.
Okay.
We honestly wish we could stay longer for today. I do want, hopefully we can have you back on the show to talk about something other than Gunpla, maybe something else we're more passionate about.
I'd be
Aside
down
from
with that.
Gaming.
Sure.
which I'm sure
Yes.
Yes.
video games, anime, things of the sort. But other than that, I just want to extend the gratitude and give thanks to you for being here with us. All this time you were able to sit here with us for like 5 hours now in total, which is awesome. We want to thank you so much for being so humble and so informative. You have so much information, and we love seeing you geek out about things. It's amazing. So I don't know if Derek has any last words for you.
I'm very, very happy to actually get, my first time to be a co-host on here, and actually meeting you and talking to you for this long. It feels great, and I love the fact that we're able to chat this long. Don't feel bad. It's awesome.
Okay.
Actually. Don't feel
All
bad
right.
about it. It's actually awesome
Okay.
because the fact is, like, for the viewers who is actually watching this with us, you're along for the ride, and we had a good time, and we had a steady flow of people just watching this the entire time, so they enjoyed it.
Thank you guys.
so
Thank you, my dudes and dudettes. Appreciate it.
Yep.
but,
So I don't know if you have any other words for your fans out there or people watching before we leave.
Nah,
Not this time.
Nah, just enjoy the hobby as it is. My phone just went off. Sorry about that. Enjoy the hobby for what it is. Don't feel compelled that you need to justify yourself by the likes and subscribers. Your time will come. And if you put all the hard work and you're very dedicated to what you guys love to do, you will get results. You will be noticed. And for all you know, down the road, you probably be sponsored. Hard work will pay off. Nothing's given to you. You just got to work hard for it, man.
This is true. All right. Well, thank you so much, James. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Remember to join our Discord, where we have all of our guests available there, along with a bunch of other people who watch the show. And, just come and be part of the GTS family. I want to thank you guys for watching for this long and for being with us. We'll see each other next week. And, I will guess we will talk to each other later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care.
All right.